Hello, hello, hello. It's Thursday. This is odd. I woke up, I completely forgot I was streaming, and then I'm like, wait a minute, I'm streaming today. So it's Thursday. Yes, it's not the future, unfortunately. It's not Friday. You still have one more day of work. It is what it is. But today is we're bringing back Talkin Shop. Yes, it's been a while. It's been like 10 months, I want to say. I think it's about 10 months since we had the last guest on. And is it really a hiatus if the series was only 3 episodes before going on break, or was that like a extended pilot? We had an extended pilot. There, we'll call it that. Happy birthday. Thank you. It was yesterday. I'm now 35. Today is the youngest I'll ever be for the rest of my life. Yay, mortality. Woohoo. Saving Private Ryan, man getting old. WMV. So how's everyone doing today? So today we have Grant on. For those who don't know Grant, Grant's from 3D Musketeer, YouTuber, scanning guy, print farm operator, does a bunch of stuff. And I met him at, I can't remember if it was Murph, or I think I saw you at Murph, but we first, no, you weren't at Murph. We met at Earth. And I saw him scanning stuff with a scanner that costs a lot more than my car. And we got to talking, and it's been a while. So I figured, you know what? I'll bring him on the show because it's something that a lot of people haven't really had exposure to, have done. And I think it's a neat topic. So we were talking the other day. I'm like, hey, you know what? Let's do a live stream. So I have Grant. He's in the green room right now. And by green room, just another tab on my stream deck muted. So we're going to have him on, and we're going to go diving down a rabbit hole. For those that have never watched one of these episodes, and go watch the old ones, they're still good. This isn't really a structured interview. I don't have a studio audience. I don't have a band to play. It's basically just 2 people talking shop. So it's back and forth banter. We have a set list of topics we're going to touch on. If you ask a question, we might bring it up right away. I might jot it down and come back to it later, or I might miss it. Sorry if I do. But it's basically just kind of, I guess you could say, shooting the shit. So it's just kind of that. So before we get into that, though, every stream we give away a spool of Polymaker filament. This is a new template, so I don't have the fancy links all down there, but I do have the entry for you to give away. Link in the description. So go enter that, and we'll give away a spool at the end of the stream. I don't know if we'll go the full 3 hours. It depends how things are going and what Brent's timeline is looking like. But whenever the stream ends, we'll end the stream there. So without further ado, let me unmute him. Hopefully I unmute him properly, and bring Grant in. So, oh, no, not that button, not that button, not that button, and this button. Hi, Grant. There we go.
Hi, everybody. How's it going?
Oh, and if we have issues with audio, let me know, because I had to redo everything like just before we went live. So yes, we have Florida man of 3D printing, Grant, right here. So for those that haven't, okay, how do I word this? Okay, basically for the folks who don't know who you are, quick intro line blurb. Who are you?
Dude, it's the Backstreet Boys. The who you are, the where you from, the what you did, and as long as you love me. Come on.
I'm sorry, it's been a while. It's been a while.
That's what I always ask
I missed the
people.
reunion tour, okay?
No, it's fine. Hey, my name's Grant. Live in Tampa, Florida. We have a business called 3D Musketeers, where we have over 40 3D printers. We have a staff of about 14 people. We do high-end 3D scanning. And then randomly, we found ourselves also doing YouTube. So that's been an odd thing that's happened in the past couple of years. But here we are, and we enjoyed the absolute hell out of it.
Nice. So I'm sure most people probably know you from the YouTube aspect, because that's kind of how you meet your greater audience, right? Like, yeah, you're not meeting people on your day-to-day job. So how I first, or we'll dive into what I first saw you doing at Earth there. So your main business, so 3D Musketeer isn't a YouTube channel. This is kind of like the side gig of the main job, I guess you could say.
I would say
it's
a second full-time job.
Second yeah. Content creating is never a side gig for long. You dabble in it, then you get into it. But your bread and butter is scanning, right? And so let's go into that. So what kind of 3D scan? Because I've got a Revo Point. I can go buy an iPhone and scan stuff. What kind of scanning do you do?
Yes. Yes, the answer is yes. So we have an Artec Eva, which is about a $20,000 hand scanner. That's the one that you saw me scanning with at the East Coast Rep Festival. It is way more expensive than it looks. In fact, the software is more expensive than most consumer scanners at $1,200 a year. Yay.
Ooh.
Yeah, not fun. But it is, honest to God, one of the best softwares I've ever used when it comes to scanning. So definitely can't hate it. We have an Artec Spider, which is about $25,000. The Spider is good down to 50 microns measurable. So, so you're getting subhuman hair quality on this. We have a Ray, an Artec Ray, which would go up to 110 meter radius from where it is. So it's a long range LiDAR scanner, similar to what you have on your iPhone, but $60,000 instead. I have the RevoPoint Range. They sent me one of those as a beta tester. That thing with the brand new 5.0, which I just got access to, holds its own for the money. I mean, that's a sub $1,000 scanner that is way, way, way too good for what it is. So if you are looking to get into 3D scanning, that RevoPoint Range is phenomenal.
So I've got this, and I don't know how to use it.
Oh, yeah, their latest software is much better.
Okay.
For reference.
Maybe, you know, I might have to corner you one night and explain to me how to use this, because they sent me this, and the problem is, okay, so how did you get into 3D scanning? Because I've tried it, and it's not, because I don't know anything about modeling. So for me, what this spits out is pretty much useless, because I can't take that and do something with it, and I don't really scan, so it's very not my thing. So how did you get into scanning, and what do you use these machines for?
Well, we do a lot of product development, so it's just a natural progression during the product development stage that you might need to take something that is physical and reverse engineer it. It's like right now we have a client who has a sailboat keel. They're not calling it a keel. It's basically just a rudder for their sailboat, but it's a racing sailboat, and they custom built it themselves. It's all made out of carbon, but now they want to offer it out to clients. Well, it's handmade, so it's not very clean. So we could go there, take a bunch of measurements, with rulers or whatever, and then try to build it in CAD. Or I can go take the EVA down there, scan it to 150, 200 microns, and then take that mesh, toss it into Fusion, and then build a parametric model around it. Now I have the same thing for way less effort, and it saves time, right? They're still going to pay quite a bit, but it saves a lot of personnel time. And then of course you could do things like scan people. So the bulk of what we started with scanners was to scan people. So before the human malware incident, we dealt with scanning a lot of people. We were the premier place to do 3D printing for the 3D scanning companies. So people that would go to conventions and all of that, they would scan, they would send us the models. We too would go into that industry as well, go out to conventions that none of our customers were at, because the deal was, we already have a customer there. Why are we competing with them? Just let them do it, then we don't have to staff it. But if nobody was there, we would go out and do the scanning ourselves.
Okay. So who have you scanned? So you've scanned people. Like, is this because I seen you at the trade show scanning Joel and Pooch and all them. So what is your normal client? Like, who's asking to get scanned and for what reason? Like somebody walking off the street just like, I want a 3D model of myself, or is it like actual clientele?
Sometimes it's people walking in asking to get scanned, and the gentlemen are always vulgar about it, and I love that because then I get to tell them, hey, by all means, you're welcome to, but the scanner's accurate to about 100 microns, and design time's $150 an hour. So we can nip tuck whatever you want to do. I mean, literally a paid gig that we're doing right now. I'll be in Austin, Texas, Easter weekend to scan the U.S. women's soccer team, just their legs and arms. So.
Can you say why? Is it
custom fit compression gear?
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense, because you're getting like pretty much a 1-to-1 there. Yeah, because you can't you don't model a human. No. Yeah, that makes sense.
No,
okay.
And when you're a sports team, so like we scanned the Bucks here, the Tampa Bay Bucks, the San Francisco 49ers, and the Philadelphia Flyers. So at Earth, that's why I had that scanner with me, because the day before we came down for Earth, I was up in New Jersey scanning the flyers. And it just happened that we were trying to find a reason to bring the scanner to Earth, and I ended up getting paid to go do a job up there. Randomly, the guy that sent us up there did not know that we had a convention like 2 hours south. So we actually flew into Baltimore a few days early, drove up through the gorgeous back roads. My God, that drive was amazing.
That was Earth was the first time I've ever driven through the Appalachians. Because I'm coming.
It beautiful?
Oh man, it is. I'm looking forward to that drive again. Like, don't get me wrong. Driving through Ohio it's driving through Ohio. But once you get into the Appalachian part of that drive, it's actually really nice. And it's in the fall, so all the leaves are changing, and the drive home was all foggy. That was cool. That was a fun drive. 9 hours, but
yeah.
So you scan athletes, anything for like movies? Like, would you?
Oh yeah.
Because in movies you usually have like a scan person for like digi-doubles and whatnot. If you go watch Quarter Digital, if you don't know what a digi-double is.
I already have an identical twin, so.
Okay, so celebrities. Who's the most famous person you scanned?
Snoop Dogg.
Snoop Dogg. So you have a 3D model of Snoop Dogg.
I have a 3D print of Snoop Dogg handy, actually.
Ooh.
Here.
Yeah.
I'll see, because our little catchphrase is that we've worked with clients from the Smithsonian to Snoop Dogg. Nobody ever calls me on the Smithsonian. They always call me on the DOGG himself. So this is Snoop, circa 2017, I believe. So this was him at the BET Awards in 2017.
Okay, so how far have things changed since then, scanning wise, technology wise?
Same exact scanner.
Same exact scanner. Okay.
Yeah. So Artec, right? They're the ones I prefer to buy my scanners from because their software just makes it easy. RevoPoint is probably one of the ones that's pushing the edge of what's possible right now. But as you'll find, the actual software is where you get kneecapped. The RevoPoint Mini, as far as hardware goes, is absolutely amazing. The software prior to this new 5.0 update was dog water. It was absolutely terrible. And it kept the scanner from being as good as it should. A scanner that can do accurately 25 microns, that is reasonably man portable, that one is easily, you can put it in your damn pocket if you wanted, for sub $1,000 does not exist. And that is how you shake up the industry. When we looked at range live, I compared it directly to my Artec Eva, a scanner that is 20 times its cost. And while it wasn't perfect, it was well within 75%. And for scanning the average human, it was more than adequate. We see some people asking about the filament used to make that model. That is a full color 3D print on a powder printer. So very, very different than what you guys are used to. So
as awesome as the AMS system is on the Bamboo, you're not printing Snoop Dogg on that like that.
No, you're not. So this is a if people want to look it up, it's a Projet, Projet 660 Pro from 3D Systems. They run about 70 grand. With materials about 86,000 delivered. I've written that check many times, so I understand what that costs.
So you have that printer, right? You have that printer?
We have one left, and it is for sale. So I am moving away from the full color industry. As much as I love it, and we cut our teeth on it, we actually set the standard for what is now the procedures for full color 3D printing. I'm one of the few people that violently learned how to fix these machines because they do break. And when your big machine breaks, you have a service contract and a tech comes out and fixes it.
Yep.
But when they tell you it's going to be 3 weeks to come and fix your $90,000 printer, that is literally the way you make money.
Yep.
It's a bit of a problem.
Yep.
So I learned how to fix it myself.
So are you outsourcing print jobs now? Like, are you not focusing on that? Or because obviously you have a print farm, but for those kind of, if you do need to do those prints now, are you just paying up for the print? Or
We really don't.
Or you don't do
so
it
I
at all?
moved away from that market. A lot
Okay.
of the scanning companies that we worked with did not survive the past few years. I'm sure we will see more pop up, and when they do, I hope that whomever wants to buy our machine will, because they're going to get those contacts as well. Whoever buys the machine will get basically a turnkey business operation. It's going to come with the formula for creating your own ink, which will save you about 20 cents a milliliter, which really starts to add up fast. We have not ever cracked the powder. The powder is still about $40 a pound. But, you know, the model like Snoop, he's probably maybe 3 or 4 ounces of powder.
Okay.
It's not that bad. There is no support material because of being a powder printer.
Is it printed solid? Like
it can be, but that one is hollowed.
Okay.
So you can hollow them.
Okay.
And again, because it's powder, you just use air to blow all the excess powder out.
Okay. That's cool.
Yeah.
I've seen them done. I'm looking. Are you going to Rapid this year by chance?
I don't know. So
Okay.
we are actively looking for a sponsor for that. If we can't get a sponsor, I will not be there. If we
Okay.
can get a sponsor, we will be there. It's too expensive, right?
Yeah.
Rapid, as far as business is concerned, is not fruitful for me, right?
Yes.
So from a business case, going there does not make sense.
It would make
From a
more sense with content. Yep.
Right, but a company needs to pay me for
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I'm kind of lucky because it's just in Chicago, and I think I've got a sponsor for it, so we should be okay. But that's last year, because last year's Rapid was awesome because it was in Detroit, which is a hop, skip, and a jump for me. I literally just woke up and just drove there and parked in the parking garage. It was like 40 minutes to get there, if that, not even. And that's including crossing the border. But they had a bunch of those machines there. Begins with an Miramaki? I'm trying to remember which company. Mimaki, that's what it was. That was the first time I've seen one of those machines in person. And I was just like...
That's not the same.
No, they had it... I know but like the same kind of full color type of printing.
Oh, yeah.
It's different technology, but somewhat similar outcome.
The Mimaki has really riled up the full color game. So if people don't know Mimaki is one of the titans of 2D printing. That's what they do. They get color accurate. They are incredibly affordable compared to other options. Stratasys owns the market for full color 3D printing right now with their J750, J850, and their desktop variant, the J55. Mimaki came in and offered a machine that matches and beats the J750 for half of the price. And it's still $250,000, but it's half the price.
Let me just check. Nope, that's not in the budget.
Yeah, no, I don't have that either. I don't have that either.
And Stratasys, they have a huge section at the Rapid. At least they did last year, so.
When you are a publicly traded company worth multi-million dollars, you can afford to spend, 150, 200 grand on a trade show because that's where they will make money.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
We actually have a smaller version of that. We have a Objet 30 Alaris here, which is a polyjet printer. So similar to the resin printers that you guys are used to, but instead of a vat that it's pulling out of, it's got a bunch of very, very tiny jets, polyjet, that then squirts out bits of UV curable resin with accuracies sub 10 microns.
That's better than most resin printers. Yeah,
it is. It's better than most resin. Even like the I guess the Frozen Sonic Mini 8K is probably the closest that you get.
And that's only one color. It's resin. You can only do one color.
Well, my Objet 30 is only one color as well. The older Objet machines were only one color.
Okay.
Sometimes you got technically it's two color because the support material is a soluble support, but you don't use it, right?
Okay. So you've moved, so you're still doing the scanning. So pretty much the scanning you do now is just for the digital files. You're not scanning stuff to print, essentially. So you're scanning stuff to get those digital files of the scan to save time instead of CapWorks. Okay.
Yeah, here, I'll show you a piece that, because this is not protected under anything. Here, I guess I have to keep it by my face. This is a leg for a planter from a buddy of mine. It's covered in tape because it's black and very, very difficult to scan. Black parts don't scan very well. And so we've scanned it. I'm going to put it into CAD, and then I'm going to 3D print it. But there will be some challenges that we get into. I am writing the struggle bus on the scan to CAD, because normally one of the engineers just does that, but I'm trying to turn that into a video.
Okay.
So now I have to learn how to do it, and it is very complicated. This is why we hire engineers and why we are actively hiring engineers that know what they're doing in Fusion 360. So I'm going to self-promote here just a minute. If you do want to work with us, please send a resume to YouTube at 3dmusketeers.com. I will send you a link to book time with me and we can talk. But portfolio as well.
So how many employees do you have right now?
Technically, just myself. We
Okay.
have independent contractors across.
Contract.
Yeah, we're all contractors. So we have a few local people, but like one of them has worked for us for almost 2 years and has only been to my house once. He came out for his birthday because he wanted a Florida man experience for his birthday. So he came out and got the Florida man experience. But otherwise, nobody is on site. Our lead engineer lives in Oregon and we're in Florida.
Yeah, and if you're the type of business that does everything pretty much digitally, it doesn't really matter where you're at. You just do it over the net.
Exactly.
As long as you have high-speed internet, which you're having issues with right now.
And we don't. So we have 500 down by 20 up. We just had Spectrum. The guys ran a brand new line from the pole up into the attic of my house down to the modem. I feel so bad because it is a sprightly, that's a little colder today. It's 24°C outside, bright and sunny. So you can imagine what my attic is. I stuck a temp probe up there yesterday. It was about 38, 39°C. Was not pleasant.
Yeah, and humidity.
Yeah. I want to comment on something that Mitch 3D said. He said the J750, I believe, is what Leica uses for their models. It is now. They used to use the ProJet 660. We are Leica's certified backup printer. So we've actually made parts that showed up in movies like Paranorman and the Box Trolls. But that is not the only time that our parts have been showed on a big screen or on national television, which is pretty cool.
Do you, anything in particular like that would be like the most standout-ish that you would be able to say?
Yeah, we did all the 3D printing for the show Pure Genius. It only lasted about a season and a half, but I am vain and have watched every episode. In fact, there's a video that we are currently working on, the 3D printer reacts video where I react to stuff. And one of those is going to be me reacting to the show that we have parts in, except I have all the parts that were in the show. I made copies because I can. So I'm going to see, this is the part that you see. This is the actual part used in the filming. We also produced the master for Age of Ultron. So we did the Ultron helmet for Age of Ultron.
Oh, nice. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that is something you're seeing. Like, I know it's probably been a thing for a while, but now you're really seeing 3D printing in movies. And like, you watch any behind the scenes stuff, and it's like, yep, we printed this, we printed that. This is printed, and it's just really cool. Because now you also have it. So if anyone wants to complain that your cosplay isn't screen accurate, you can be like, this is the screen accurate. I have the model.
It is screen accurate because this is the exact one that we made for. Yeah, these were just people that were in regular. The premise was, this disease that they didn't know anything about. They had to, basically create small copies of themselves to go in. It's like, think Dr. House mixed with the Magic School Bus was very much the premise of the show, minus the painkiller drug addiction.
Okay, that
and
makes
Hugh
sense.
Laurie, which means that's why
it's
it was
not.
canceled.
Yeah, it's not as good. You need Hugh Laurie. So you obviously you're still doing print farming. So what kind of print farming are you doing right now?
That depends.
Is it just contract work?
It is. It's been historically slow for us, which I've talked about a little bit, but I believe that's got a lot to do with the way the market is going. We do a lot with medical devices, food packaging, and some other industries that I care not to talk too deep into the work that we do because it just basically gives people the ability to just immediately compete with us if they can penetrate those markets pretty well. But a lot of it is the rapid prototyping side of things, where we've taken a customer who their normal sales cycle is about 18 to 20 months down to 18 to 20 weeks, and then eventually we've got them down to sub 3 months. And when you're talking a $500,000 deal from almost 2 years to basically 3 months, that's how you grow. That's how you exponentially grow.
So is that you're saving the time because of the ability to rapid iterate, or?
Correct.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So my background is injection mold making. So
Yeah.
I spent almost a decade working in a tool shop building injection molds, and anytime you have to change anything, it's bust out the welder, or, you know, buy a new block of steel.
Weeks.
Yeah, it's not an easy change, and it's shut down production lines for that. But it's you eat the time up front to have faster production versus 3D printing. It really it's one of those things where there's not a yes or no answer. There's always going to be a use case that favors one or the other.
Exactly. And this was a company that owns the production facilities in China. So they bought land, they built a production facility, bunch of injection molding machines. But even though they own it, you still run about a 2-month lead to design it, get it cut, get one shot, air freight it over, then get it in the hands of the customer, where they can say, this is what the customer wants. They sent us this basic idea. We have it catted up in 3 to 4 days. We print it overnight. I used to hand deliver it. Now they send Ubers to come and pick it up. And it is my favorite thing, because I hand the Uber the thing. They're like, okay, you getting it? I said, nope, this is your passenger. Like, really? Like, yep. They said, they're spending $70 to ship something. I said, why are you complaining? You have no, you don't need to make small talk. The guy's like, yeah, that's fair. All right, cool. Well, thanks. I'll see you later. I'm like, see you later. And then I text the client, this never gets old. The look on the face of the Uber driver never gets old.
Well, it's either that, or you like, what's the next best option? Overnight it with FedEx.
They don't see, they want same day, because at that point, time matters. So those customers are the most fun for me. The ones where we play in saving them time, because we never work with purchasing managers. It is always the salespeople. Yeah. Because the salespeople are willing to put their commission up front on the line. Because if they can spend $5,000 to make 50 in 3 months rather than 2 years, dude, that's an ROI that you can get a house with that kind of ROI.
Yeah, that's not too shabby.
No, it's not too shabby. And those are my favorite, because then there's no corporate malarkey to go through. It's just very simple. We need your help. Okay, we got you. This is what we need. Okay, we got you. Can you do it? I've already done it. Here's your parts.
Yeah, you can't really argue. So what machines, so for you, obviously, in this kind of, you need print done when it's done, what machines are you running right now, and how many?
We have, we have 47 machines total right now, last I checked. Functioning printers, probably somewhere in the range of 35. But give them the number of how many printers we have. I never state that they're all functioning.
Yeah, you never know.
Because there's one that was on fire that is outside right now. It's been outside since I set it on fire for a video. It's gonna get set on fire again when we check out the Wham Bam Cloud pretty soon. But you know, we have 13 Prushas, 9 Mark 3Ss, 4 Minis, and prior to machines like the Bamboo, Prussia was the best option for this, because I can just click and go back to work, right? I don't have to sit there and, you know, monitor it. It's going to work 99% of the time. And in the event that the client needs it now, I'll print multiples of them. So we had a client, we showed off their part on Tuesday. It was Tuesday's time lapse. It was a pacifier for a senior design project at USF. We did a sub 12-hour turnaround. I ran 5 of them. Yeah,
just to ensure that it did finish, or that.
Yeah, okay. Exactly. Because I'm not gonna focus on what if the print fails, what if the print fails, what if the print fails. I'm gonna run multiple. So if the print does fail on one of them, chances are one of them is successful considerably higher.
Okay, yeah, you gotta hedge your bets. And if you're printing something small and you have the machines available, filament isn't that much of a sunk cost, really.
That part was a $25 part with a $50 rush charge. And when you saw the size of the part, it was it's $75 thing, and I think it was maybe 80, 90 grams.
Okay.
You know, the profit margins there are insane. But I ran 5 of them and only charged the customer for 1. I ended up giving them 1 completely outright failed. And then I gave them 4. So they paid for one, they got four, because I don't want, what
Yeah,
the
what are
hell
you
am I
gonna do
gonna
with them?
a pacifier? It does me no good. So now they're able to mess around with a couple, and I heard from the client, they sent me a text message saying, thank you so much. We submitted our project on time, and it's all because of you. I said, Google review, please. Put that in a Google review.
There you go.
That's the thing that small businesses struggle with.
Yeah,
We have
you gotta get your word out.
51 or 52 reviews. We've been in business. This is year 7, and we have like 50 something Google reviews.
Yeah,
So,
because I'm thinking companies, if you're working with a lot of companies, they tend not to go back and fill out a Google review.
No, they don't. But now with the YouTube channel, if they don't sign a non-disclosure agreement, I publicize the hell out of the project.
There you go. Content.
It's been pretty great.
All leads back to content. So what machines other than Prusas are you using? You got any A-nets back there?
All of our resin, huh?
Got any A-nets back there?
No, I have a few Wanhouse still. Those are literally on the block to get destroyed in videos. They don't have thermal runaway protection, so they'll get destroyed on videos. All of our resin printers, except for one, are Elegoo's. So I have a lot of the OG Marses, the RGB screen Marses.
Yeah,
that still work. So we decided this is a business move right here. I really wanted the SL1, but at $1,400, it was way too expensive.
Yeah.
So we bought 7 Elegoo Mars Gen 1s because they came out at roughly the same time. I needed 6 at the time, 1 for a spare. That one is still in the box as a spare. It has never been used.
So yeah, because resin, like especially on the cheaper ones, usually you have a pretty finite lifespan on them before they die, don't they?
We don't. Some of the more unique materials, we have one Mars that's dedicated to casting resin. I ran a casting resin part the other day. It was the first time we've ran casting resin in like 6 months.
Okay, yeah.
But the nice thing is, I just have a shelf full of resin printers. Each of them has a different material or a different color. We don't have to change tanks, clean build plates, nothing. I don't have to bother with any of that BS. It is just go to that printer, plug in the USB, and then send it. Because again, I don't want to have to worry. Like, the cost of that wasted resin that you're going to end up wiping out of the tank and wiping off the build plate is insignificant. The amount of time that it takes, however, is not. And money is not a finite resource. I know technically for most people it is, and for myself it is incredibly finite. I have never taken a paycheck from 3D Musketeers. There's your little secret of the companies. I don't take a paycheck right now. But I can always make more money. I cannot currently make more time.
Yeah, they're still working on that. I think some guys are working on that though.
They are still working on it. I mean, technically, if I go to space and go on the ISS, we can play with some time dilation.
Yeah,
but it's not
the return on
enough
investment is kind of
the
hard to
ROI
justify.
is just not there. And while I can put my hair back into a ponytail, that does not make me a megalomaniac tech billionaire, unfortunately. So,
Yeah, because I'm dabbling with resin again, because for me, resin's like one of those things where like you don't touch it forever, and then you do one resin print for one reason, and then you're like, damn it, and then next thing you know, you're printing a ton of
so good, right?
And then you get sick of the mess. So for me, usually when it comes to changing resin, when it starts to get low, I just pour in the next stuff, and the colors get mixed, and it is what it is, because I hate cleaning out resin vats, because it's a mess, especially on the bigger ones.
When we moved away from Soriatech Sculpt into Soriatech Fast Gray, I just slowly mixed it in.
Yeah, it's like dog food. It's like dog food. You just kind of just start mixing it, and then you're good to
go. And as the chat is saying, resin is toxic. Yes, that is one of our catchphrases here, that resin is toxic.
Yeah, it's not good for you.
Don't drink the forbidden smoothie.
Yeah. So let's see here. What's going on in chat? Anything that I missed? What printer did you set on fire? Are you saving that for the video?
It was a Wanhao i3. It's the same one that was set on fire the first time. I am so bummed because I did kind of cheat in that first fire video. So we did a video on thermal runaway, but Mother Nature was not having any of my crap. It was barely windy enough to keep the heat block from melting. You could visibly see the heat coming off the heat block. But I had to give it a little bit of help, and then it took off.
Okay.
And then for the thumbnail, I just started spraying the build plate with a bunch of alcohol.
Yeah, you got to get the thumbnail. The thumbnail you got to
get the thumbnail.
It's always for clickbait.
Videos are literally fire.
Yeah. You got red arrows pointing at things and circles.
Yeah, it's a requirement. For this one, I think we're still going to use the same printer because it doesn't. We don't. We can just set fire, but I'm gonna build an enclosure out of wood. We're gonna set fire to the printer, and if the cloud doesn't take out the fire, the entire enclosure goes up.
Okay, yeah, that'd be interesting.
So that'll be the premise of that video.
Actually, that would be, because if you have several of these printers you're willing to dispose of, it would be an interesting series to see how different types of enclosures stack up. Like, because I'll be honest, I've thrown a garbage bag over a printer to print ABS before. And
I've done cardboard boxes. I've never done the garbage bag.
So it's kind of funny how much, like, I think we've been dancing around the white elephant topic for a bit about a certain printer, but I love how we have people poo-poo and call out people. Oh, you can't, that's a fire hazard enclosure. You can't do that. And then there's currently contests right now for printing a PLA enclosure for that machine. Like, the community is kind of weird sometimes. It's like, oh, you covered your printer in cardboard. You're gonna kill yourself. Ooh, 2 kilograms of PLA wrapped around the printer? Hot dog, I'm in.
Hot dog, exactly.
So that would make an interesting series to see how, like,
do we need more haters though?
No, I'm not saying set one of those on fire, but like the common enclosure types that you see, because like a lax case, like what happens to a lax if the printer catches fire? Because most of the printer, especially on modern ones, isn't really flammable. Although some of them are starting to use quite a few plastic injection molded parts. But if your hot end melts, your hot end falls onto the bed. What is the bed? It's a PCB and maybe a spring steel flex plate. Where's the fire going then?
It's gonna fall onto your print.
It's gonna fall. Yeah, that's true. It's gonna fall on the print.
What a lot of people tend to forget is that the bulk of these fires happen when it goes in a thermal runaway and sets the print on fire.
Yeah.
It's not normally setting the hot end on fire because there's not a lot of flammable material on a hot end.
You have some wiring, the fans, like, which a lot of that plastic too is fire resistant.
Yeah, it generally is. It might not be flammable, but it also probably isn't fire retardant.
Yeah.
Which, God, I hate printing fire retardant material. I do see a question from NH3D Canada asking, Grant, do you have another location? I have followed you for over a year and only seen what we see now, and I'd love to see the rest of your operation. I thought they were asking about location being another building. I think they're asking to see the rest of the shop. I can pan the camera up, but we deliberately keep the rest of the rack, which is all over here, the printers that are over here, out of camera. And the lights are off over there. They've always been off. There are lights there. They've always been off on camera because that's where the non-disclosure parts go and the government parts go. Parts that can't be shown on camera for some reason. And currently,
it's aliens. You could just say it's aliens. You could just say it's aliens.
Yeah, aliens. Yes, aliens.
Government aliens. You can't show it. So
yeah.
Oh no, you go.
Zerno said, haven't you mentioned an office space before? We do have a second office. So I'm an entrepreneur in residence for Pasco County, Florida, which means my job is to help people start, grow, and expand their businesses. So I have an office in the Grove in Wesley Chapel. It is not a public office, like we don't publicize the address for it because there are no printers there. I am not allowed to have printers there because of the insurance policy that the building has. They will not allow 3D printers there, but I will often meet people there to do,
Is that a preventative thing or a reactive thing? Like,
it's reactive because they've seen the ANET fires and they just think that every 3D printer is a fire hazard, or they think all we're going to do is 3D print 2A and, give it to people.
Oh yeah, the 2A thing. Crime. Yeah. So yeah. So I follow. I'm not American, so 2A is not a thing for me, and I'm Canadian, right? The rules are the rules up here, so I don't dabble in that. But I follow some of the 2A people, and it's yeah, you do you. We
just had the 3D Print General on the podcast, so that was literally this past Sunday he was on, and we had an honest to goodness talk about 2A. He and I agreed ahead of time. We're not going to touch politics. If anyone in the comments touches politics, we're going to either put them in timeout or we're going to completely and flat out ignore it, because we really need this conversation because, like, my scanners, I can't get insurance on. The only insurance company that will insure them has an over $10,000 a year premium. I'm not going to pay that.
Is
That's
it because
over
why won't they insure scanners? Is it just
because they think we're going to scan firearm components and then produce them for people.
you could just get the CAD for most of these online?
Look, I'm not.
I know you can't argue with it. Reason.
Welcome to insurance in America
Oh,
is basically what I need to say about that. So it sucks, but it is what it is.
Okay.
E3D's in the chat. Hey, E3D.
E3D there? Oh, hey. See you guys.
Mars Gizmo was here as well earlier.
He was? Oh, yeah.
Yep.
I've got chat open, but it's you always miss something. You always miss something.
Oh, you always do.
Oh, Max is here too. Hey, Max. As a European, what is 2A? So, Second Amendment. So, in America, they have their Constitution, which doesn't change, but they change it all the time with amendments, and they have amendments that change previous amendments. So, you can't ban guns because it's in the Constitution, but you can ban alcohol and then unban alcohol. So, I don't know. I'm not American. It is what it is. So,
I'm American and I don't understand it, but I went to American public schools, so that's
so they have the right to take bear arms and graft them on their body or something. I don't know, something to do with guns. That's basically
I was thinking about ordering a set of bear arms for that podcast just as a joke, but Sean and I agreed that that's kind of pushing the amount of trolling that we wanted to do. Yeah, we get calls about that all the time, though. We get calls, hey, can you 3D print this thing? I'm like, no, I'm not going to federal prison. Thank you.
Thank you for being. Hello, Mr. Fed, trying to be bait.
Yeah. No thanks.
Yeah.
No thanks.
Ellie here too. Everyone's showing up. Hi, everyone.
Yeah.
You need chocolate.
Yeah,
I need
Ellie.
chocolate. I need that chocolate printer, Ellie.
Me too. I don't see. Ellie's printer is the first printer that I've looked at and said, I have not a singular business case to own one.
Same.
And the day pre-orders are open, I am giving money.
It's a chocolate printer that actually works good, because we've seen chocolate printers before, like with the one that's a fire hazard that you just kind of take your hot end off and let it hang there and bolt the thing. Yeah, no.
Toasty. Yeah, it's like I have no business case. There's absolutely zero business case for me on this, but I'm still gonna do it.
No, I don't have any chocolate.
Because it's gonna be a ton of fun. It was really great finally meeting Ellie after a few years of hanging out with them on the Friday calls and being able to show the printer, showing the history of it on the channel, and just getting to talk with Ellie privately about the machine, because I am so excited. What's up?
We're back? Oh, no. Audio cut out for a second there.
Oh, okay.
Oh, we're good. We're good.
Okay, cool. All right. Yeah, and it's funny because the sugar printer that Ellie was looking at is a powder printer similar to what we have. So I told Ellie, I said, if you ever get that machine, let me know. I'll help you run it because I know how to do that.
Same tech. Yeah.
Yeah, it's identical tech. They're literally just big 2D printers that print with powder instead of paper.
Yeah, and it's delicious.
Yeah.
So that's the scanning and the printing. So how did you get into the thing with the content creating? How does it? Because everyone falls into it at some point. Who does it? So how did that happen?
So we decided to start a podcast late 2020. I had injured my back. So for those that don't know, I have 2 herniated discs. That's actually why I've been growing out my hair. We're going to shave it for a fundraiser for the Sanjay Mortimer Foundation soon, TM. Trying to figure out dates and times and all that to make it happen. But since August of 2020, I have not cut my hair at all. So apparently my hair grows very slowly, but it is curly. So it's, it's
there you go.
It's not
you got the volume.
Yeah, the volume's there. My dad is definitely not jealous that I'm not going bald already in my mid-30s. But, we decided that we had a very continuing problem. That we had the same questions get asked over and over and over again, right? What is 3D printing? How does it differ from CNC milling? Why would I choose 3D printing over injection molding? So I said, you know what? Screw it. We're going to make a podcast. We're going to do 10 episodes, and it's going to solve the 10 questions that we get, and then we're done. Well, at the time, Cricut was just playing around with going from you own your machines to actually we're going to forcibly put you into a lease policy. Even though you bought it, it's yours and you own it. We're now going to force you to pay us monthly to use it. I had a problem with that, so I made a video getting all pissed off at it. That video gained us 250 subscribers overnight, and at a channel with 50 subscribers,
Yep.
quintupling your subscriber base overnight from a business perspective is something that you don't ignore. So I
Yep.
said, F it. That was March 17th. March 16th was when the video went live. March 17th is when, you know, we noticed that everything had happened of 2021. And as they say, the rest is history. From day one, we started, I said, I can't edit. I'm not going to try. We have a full-time editor that works with us. We have a copywriter to do all the copy for the videos. We have a team of people that help us with ideas. They're other, you know, they're engineers as well, but they also help out on the channel as well. And it's now turned into, how many videos did we post last month? 89 videos last month.
Oh, wow. That's more than me.
Yeah. Well, so with the advent of vertical and short form content, it's kind of obvious that we should be pushing that heavily. So we have an entire setup inside of OBS with a vertical a vertical display, and then I have a button that I click and it records the previous 2 minutes in that vertical format that I set.
I've seen that. That's
I then
one
upload
thing.
It, our editor cuts it down, then we have more content.
That's one thing I've been stalling on, is getting into shorts. I dabbled with TikTok years ago, and I've got TikToks with over 1 million views. The problem is there was absolutely zero ROI in my case. Like I would make the TikToks. I can't monetize them where I am.
Right.
Or at the time I couldn't. So I'm making these TikToks. They're getting tons of views, but they're not leading to anything because I run a YouTube channel. So I know Joel was doing it, Uncle Jesse, where they use the TikTok to advertise stuff they sell on the print farm. And you see that a
phenomenal idea.
Yeah, you see that a ton.
Phenomenal idea.
Where there's just channels that all they do is just, this is something I printed on my printer. If you want to buy it, link in the description. And they make a killing doing that. But that's like, I don't run a print farm. I do everything out of this room. And since I live stream 3 days a week and then I record videos, I don't like doing that when the printers are running. So I can't run print farm operations out of here. It just doesn't work.
Yeah. I don't mind doing it when the printers are live because a lot of our machines are not loud enough to get picked up on the mic. But you know, I use a studio microphone. We have a Samson Q2U for those that are wondering. It's a $70 mic, and it's the mic that I've used since day one. It is absolutely worth it. I love it, and it does a great job of cutting out all the background BS. Whether it's the bamboo that's currently running, the Prussias that are currently running, whatever it is, you know, there's always something.
You're mostly sitting though when you're streaming though, right?
When I stream, yeah. So we have a few sets. The channel's only ever seen 2 of them. There is a third that nobody is, well, the people on the YouTube channel haven't seen. So there's my seated set, which is my office. This is my desk. These are all fake lights here. So, but you know, I've done as best as I can to give myself not be, you're too pale, because I am half Cuban, which is an odd thing that people don't know. But the rest of me is Polish, if that wasn't the giveaway. Or the curly hair, because that's not a Cuban thing. But you know, we have the standing set, which is in my garage, which up until about a year ago was completely unair conditioned, and I would die out there. It was so hot. And thanks to our Patreon supporters, of course, you can support Nero. Links are in that description down below. I'll do the self promos for you. And of course, like and subscribe, share all the things you're supposed to do, leave a comment on the stream. You know, it's much easier to have somebody else do it than it is to do it yourself, right?
Yeah.
But so the other one is in my garage. That's the standing set that you guys see where I do like unboxings and that kind of thing. That's all done in my garage. There is one other set, which is a chemical grade certified soldering table. It weighs about 300 pounds. The goal for it is a jerry rig everything set, which is, you know, top down. You just see my hands. There's no face cam. That's where we're going to do things like equipment autopsies, deep dives into why things have failed for whatever reason, and looking at some further educational content for other channels that we have in the works. Because as any business knows, putting your eggs in one basket is a bad move, and diversification of revenue streams is where you need to go. So while YouTube has been a loss leader for the company, it is the loss leader for the company. that it is still something that I'm looking at from business case and saying we can make this profitable within 3 years, which is fine. That's really all that I'm going for is, 3 years of profitability.
That's that whole. It's like why grocery stores sell milk at a loss. It's to get you in the door. It's to get the exposure out there. It's I see people in chat, they don't like shorts. Believe me, I hate shorts. I'm sure most content creators hate shorts. Like it's a horrible format.
I hate them too.
But it gives you a crap ton of exposure.
Well,
and
let's look at it from the
growth.
business perspective. It takes about 15 minutes to edit a short. Okay, so think about what you would pay someone for 15 minutes of their time.
Yeah.
And we get between 3 and our best one so far has done over 100 subscribers. So let's say on the low side, 3 subscribers per short for 15 minutes worth of somebody's time. That is an amazing cost per acquisition.
Yeah,
right.
And the
it
only
is
thing
all
that
about business.
The only thing that I'm still hesitant on before, like I do have some shorts on my channel. I do put the odd one out, but it's the payoff from it. Like I want to see data that those short subscribers are actually watching the long form content, because a lot of people, they'll like and they'll hit subscribe, but they just sit there on the homepage and just scroll and whatever comes up comes up. They're not actually checking out the channel, and then also the payouts are quite down there.
Yeah, it's not great.
I've seen some where it's like. Yeah, I seen one where it was like somebody had like 115 million views and they made like $1,000 for 115 million. I was like, I have a single live stream that I did last month that is not $1,000, but within, give it a couple more weeks and we'll be at that. And it's a live stream I did last month.
Right.
That does not have 115 million views.
We had a couple things. One, $10 from Russ. Russ is an awesome guy. He actually donated a Anchor Make M5 to the channel for us to take a look at. We did an unboxing of that a couple of weeks ago. Really interesting printer. I've been abusing it.
Oh, the M5. Oh, before we go further, here I'm gonna share my setup because you talked about your setup. So we got mobile. So we got hi, this is me. That's my shelf. There's my resin printer. There's the door. There's you. And there's the background. There's my setup. Thank you for watching. It's all in one room. It's and then I have another bedroom that's just a pile of stuff. This is.
I was gonna turn one of our bedrooms in the house into the filming room, but this is a mud room, so it's a really kind of useless room.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we don't really.
Yeah,
have
it doesn't
those.
do any. It's 10 feet wide by 17 feet long. So it's really oddly shaped.
I got 10 by 11, I think. So my plan is I have a garage, but my garage it's attached to my house, but it's uninsulated, it's unheated, unair conditioned. So I want to make that into a set for like, I still want to do stuff in here. So, this is a studio and workshop. I want to move the workshop aspect out there. The problem is I got to heat it, I got to insulate, I got to run a bunch of power to it, and I can't use up the whole thing because I still need it as a garage for stuff. Because I live in Canada. Yeah, you're lucky because you live in Florida, so you can just put like a fan and you might be okay. And,
oh no! I have to have the AC. Okay. But I don't put any cars in my garage.
Okay, but for me, in the summer we get 30 plus C, super humid days, and in the winter it's the winter. We get snow, -20 at times. Like,
it gets really cold.
So. People are like, oh, just get a shed or something. It's like, no, it's not like I can't do Joel where you just go in the garage and he lives in Seattle and it's kind of okay the whole year. It's like, it don't work that way.
We're looking at a shipping container as the next move. Fully insulate the shipping container, put a mini split in it, and then if and when we decide to move, I just come in and have a truck come and pick it up and take it. Then I'm not spending $100,000 on a building that doesn't go with me. It's something that I can take with me, and then that money is continued to be an investment into the business rather than a sunk cost being a building.
Yeah, I don't think my neighbors would appreciate it if I dropped a sea can in the driveway. Also, Ellie, thanks. Cheers for becoming a member.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't, my backyard, because of building laws, you can't have anything within an existing or X distance from an existing structure. That includes fences. The distance between the houses is pretty narrow, so I can't just get by a pre-made shed and shove it back there. I can't expand outside of my house, basically.
We looked at a shed. We looked at all that. It is the same amount or less for me to buy a shipping container, paint it, fully insulate it, and turn it into a building that I can use. No, it's not gonna have any water. She's gonna have electrical going to it. It will cost me between $15,000 and $17,000 to do it, which is not a small chunk of change, but it's not a sunk cost either.
Yeah.
Because it's still considered a portable building.
Yep.
And that's the win. The win is that it's still portable.
Yeah.
Because in Florida, we don't have basements.
Yeah.
Because if our water table is about 6 feet, you can literally start digging a hole with a shovel and it will fill with water.
I'm underground right now. Well, this much of me is underground.
See, if I had a basement that's the same size as my house, my God, you know, like, oh, we'd be so set. But yeah, basements in Florida are called pools. Call those pools, because that's what will happen.
Where in Florida are you? Are you like
just north of Tampa?
Okay.
Yeah, my house is actually like the 5th or 6th highest point in the state. We are almost 200 feet above sea level. Almost 200 feet.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Up in the air. Oh, the air's got to be thin way up there.
Oh, dude, it's hard to breathe when I go outside. You know. Yeah, like I go outside very often. I went outside last night because the Relativity space rocket went up. Did you see that?
I watched the live stream. They 3D printed rocket. 85% of it's 3D printed.
85% 3D printed.
Second stage failure to ignite. Space is hard. It is what it is. At least it didn't blow up on the ground. That's what you don't want.
But it got to max Q, which is what they needed. They needed to get to max Q.
Yeah, first
and
stage.
I saw it from here.
Oh, nice. Yeah, first stage. The whole first stage was good. It's just second stage engine. The lighter didn't work or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it was. So I'm on the other side of the state. So Cape Canaveral is about a 2.5 hour drive, but about 85, 90 miles as the crow flies.
Okay.
And it just looks like a little angry candle going up in the sky. That's it. I can see the fireball and I can see it going up, and that's it.
Okay.
But I can see Falcon 9s on a clear day. Falcon Heavies, even on a rough day, you can see them. But the stream with was it the Anchor Make? Or was it the Bamboo? It was the Bamboo stream when they were trying. We actually spent like 10 minutes getting my cell phone hooked up to OBS so I could run outside and show. And of course, it didn't go up. But it was very funny. We were all laughing because I'm like, if I have the opportunity to show this live from Tampa, that would have been pretty cool. But it was it was the Anchor Make stream.
Okay.
It was the Anchor Make stream.
So you have one of those M5s. How?
I do.
How is it?
It's
okay.
It's very pretty. It is very fast, but it is V wheels.
Yeah.
It is a really nice looking Creality with closed source clipper, from what I can tell.
Yeah, that's kind of what I've been, because they announced that machine. There was a huge hype train for it, and then Bamboo came out, and everyone kind of completely forgot about the Anchor Made M5.
I will say, it runs really well. It prints really nicely. The screen moving up and down really catches you off guard.
Yeah,
because like you're always used to, like, you have a muscle
that?
memory of where the screen is supposed to be. But it's like, oh crap, no, it's up here now. And that is pretty cool. It is very quiet compared to the Bamboo. So I will give it lots of credit there, but the V wheels are going to be quiet. But I'm running lots of prints on it right now so that we can see, do we see exponential wear on the V wheels, or are these things more sturdy than I expect V wheels to be? So this is, you know, I really want to I want to do extended testing of machines, and you know, I've extensively tested Prussias. This Prusia right here, this is my first one.
I don't know why I moved out of the way there.
I have over 3,000 hours of print time on that machine, multiple kilometers of filament fed, and that thing's run like a Swiss watch. It's maybe jammed a hot end once or twice, and I'm the kind of mad lad that will just, when I see that it's jamming up, I will pause the print and hot swap the entire hot end.
Okay.
Failure is not an option. We have spare hot ends laying around, so I will command it to turn off the heat on the hot end, I will then unscrew the heater and thermistor, pull it out, and then put it into a new hot end, insert everything back in, take that old hot end and deal with it later. Again, business side of things.
Yep.
I tried to, like, if the printer is older, we might do some stuff to it, but we're converting most of our V6 printers over to diamond nozzles anyways.
The Diamondbacks?
So it's not, oh yeah.
Yeah, they're I've got a few. They sent me a sampler pack. They're very nice nozzles. It's just I've got Revo Obsidians in most of my Vorons now, so it's kind of like I know people can't get them, and I have some, but
I have a few as well. Yeah.
Should have gone
sorry
to
to people that can't get them.
Yeah, just go to
gone
Earth. They had a jug full of them they were selling.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been really
what
lucky.
recalibration do I do? I don't do any because there isn't any needed. If it's replacing a V6 with a V6, they're the same. Unless you're not torquing everything down to roughly the same spec, there is no recalibration needed. It's the same thing. It's really it freaks you out the first time you do it. You're like, this should not work, and then it works. I've swapped nozzles mid-print. When I had a nozzle clog, or when I suspected a nozzle clog, just swap the nozzle mid-print. You know, you eventually get used to doing really janky stuff, because sometimes you do it for fun, sometimes you do it because you got to.
So I'm going to bring up a question somebody asked a while ago and kind of tie it into this. So they were asking, how come you are using Prusas? Because most people want, like, for a lot of print farms, you see people running like fleets of cheap Crealities because you get that volume. So in your case, though, you're doing stuff that's time critical. So is that pretty much?
It's not just time critical. I'm one person, and I can't spend hours and hours and hours upgrading every one of these enders to be reasonably reliable from a business perspective. I also don't have a team of people to have an entire station set up for maintenance, right? If you're running an ender farm, you should have half a dozen more machines than you need, because the likelihood of a couple of those machines going down at once goes up more and more the more machines that you have. Like, we normally try to have at least 2 more machines than we need at any time, because if something does go down, I want to rip the card out of the broken printer, put it into the printer that is happy, and click go, right? That is the most amount of work that I want to do. And when it is a singular person that runs all the machines, I am the only person here. The cat is wonderful, although the stream can't see the cat, but there is a cat here. Her name is Victoria. She is our director of marketing and director of HR. While she is wonderful, she sleeps a lot and is probably the laziest employee that we have. Here, I'll adjust my camera so stream can see her just a little bit better. But, you know, she's a lazy bones that does lazy bones things. You know, and yes, the peel is still on the back of my monitor. I don't care.
You don't see it. So let's talk about the bamboo then. So
real quick, no, actually, we have a real good question. Would the Silva SB06 be the new cheap farm printer?
That I'm really liking mine.
100%.
Yeah.
Abso-freaking-lutely. This is only, so there are some caveats here. The caveats are, you must know what you're doing. I move my camera a little bit, now I'm not centered. Okay, now I'm centered. If you know how to run printers and know how to properly service them, the SV06 and I presume the SV06 Plus, I don't have one yet. I ordered one.
They're the same, just bigger.
I'm not cool enough. Well, I'm seeing that the screens are different on the on the pluses.
The screens are different. Here, let me go grab it. You can keep talking.
Unless have they upgraded the 6 to have that Ender 3 V2 style screen? Because I have the old school screen, the V1 style screen.
So, I think the 6 is staying as is.
Okay, but the Plus has that. Is it a touch screen?
Honestly, I don't like touch screens on printers. I don't either. I'd rather have. I like my tactile feedback, and half the time, if I'm doing anything with the printer, it's remote anyways, because I run them all. Like Clipper. So I got it here.
I say you have to make the chat. You have to make it big for you because they can't see it. Yeah, it's. So
yeah, it does have. Let me plug it in.
If all that it is just a big SV06, Right now, the SV06 at $200, amazing deal. I don't think you're gonna get, and like, I love the Elegoo Neptune 3 Pro Plus and Max. Love them all. Don't have any of them, but I love them. There is one fundamental flaw with them, is that they don't have an all metal hot end.
Yep, this has all metal bearings, so it'll last longer.
Yep. Direct drive planetary, so it's high torque.
So there's your screen. So it does have its own like touchscreen thing.
Yeah. It looks literally like the
it has
the
a night mode.
V2.
It has a night mode.
Well, that's nice. Huh.
So I've actually been really happy with these. I haven't used this one much, honestly, because I don't need to.
You don't need to.
But like I was like I got both these unboxed on live streams, and the SV06 I was like unboxing and I'm going through it. I'm like, this thing is a killer value because it has everything that you would put on a printer. It's got a flex plate. It's got a direct drive. It's got, you know, everything that you would want, but cheap.
It's their not Volcano, which is crap. Maybe you can check this out for me. Can you just swap it out for an actual Volcano?
Can you no.
I'm saying, can you unscrew from their heat break and then screw in a Volcano block? I would assume that it's all M6.
Maybe
because the nozzles are the same thread.
I would have to dig. I have to find my Volcano block because they got a separate thing. The nozzle's slightly longer than a Volcano nozzle because it comes to a point.
Yeah, it's
a 3D printer. I'm sure somebody will just print a different shroud for it. Like, I've already seen there's add-ons to put a 50-15 on the back to give you better part cooling, because that's one of the only downside with this machine is the part cooling. But what you do is you just print it on Prusa Slicer and tell it it's a Mark III S, and you just change the bed size and use the stock Prusa profile, and it prints amazing.
That's exactly what we do.
For sub 300, it's like you can't go wrong. And compared to
these are 360 now, I think, the pluses.
Yeah, the bigger one. Yeah, for the plus, but it's big. That's the only problem.
I don't know if I'd recommend the smaller one. I mean, so I still think you're going to be able to fit 4 of them on a 6-foot shelf, even at the plus size. It'll be tight, but I still think you'll be able to do it. But the SV06, 100%. But I would say
24 inches right there
first.
There's 24 inches right there. So so it will fit on a 24-inch bed, but it's big.
I don't care if it sticks out of the front. I don't want it to hit the wall on the way back, you know?
Well, that was with the bed all the way at the back.
Yeah. And all of our shelves are 24 inches deep. I get these are the industrial shelves from Sam's. That's what I use for our farm.
Oh, there you go.
It's what my desk is, one of those too. So, yeah. It's I would say if you are willing, or you have learned on a better printer, like let's say you've learned on a Prusa. And the only reason I really push Prusa is because their warranty is amazing. And I'm told Sobel's warranty and their customer support's pretty damn good. But it's not 15 minutes or less on a live chat, right?
Yeah. There's a difference there. Like it's good for an Asian market printer, put it that way.
Yeah, you should know that your printer at $350 or less, it is disposable.
Yeah.
And
you're gonna have cheap bearings in it. You're gonna have actually the belts are. It has Gates belts. It has Gates belts.
It does.
But yeah,
I haven't
fans are gonna be
bearings
cheap.
To be a problem, but I am curious to know what it's injection molded out of. I assume it's ABS, but if it is a cheaper plastic, enclosing them will give you significant.
Oh, it's ABS. It's ABS.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't see any maker marks when we were looking, so I didn't know for sure.
dug too. Like they got ejector pin marks and whatnot, but it's gonna be ABS or better, because ABS is dirt cheap. Like very rarely you're gonna see anything worse than ABS for injection molding. Like
PVC. PVC.
Yeah.
Which will handle more heat, but has that danger side of the chlorine gas.
Yeah, I don't think it's PVC.
It didn't have any of the PVC stank to it, but it didn't have any ABS stank to it either. So I don't know. I don't know what they're injecting with, but it is
Could be PC.
A little.
No, I don't think it's PC.
I would say if I was looking at building out a print farm right now, like I am currently not buying more Mark III S's. it is very obvious the Mark III platform is old.
They got to sunset
They
it.
are sucking every piece of whatever they can out of that 8-bit board. And I'm very happy with the way they perform. But at this point, I'm not buying any more Mark III's. I would recommend that if you are looking at Cartesian printers, that a Mark III's would be a good printer to start with if you are looking to build a print farm. So my preference is you start with a printer that is good, reliable, has a good warranty, and a, you know, open source support and all of that. Then you look at what makes sense from a business case. So you get the one that you learn on, then you can go to the cheaper ones. And literally, the SV06 is a Mark III in sheep's clothing. That's all that it is. Minus the runout sensor, which you can add, but you have to reflash the firmware, which I am only mildly upset about.
Yeah, I've reflashed. I actually, my SV06, I flashed the clipper. We did a live stream, and then I flashed it back to Marlin. I just put Marlin back on it just to keep it simple.
I hate flashing printers. Like my Mark III's are all running 3.8.3 still.
Clipper.
I never use Clipper ever.
Yeah, and where's your Voron at, eh? Where's the Voron at?
Well, you know, as we've discussed, I've got a lot going on other than the YouTube channel, and unless we can get a sponsor that will really pay for my time, like I'm sure I can reach out to Jason. And get a Voron, you know, for the channel, but Jason's not going to pay me to build it. At least I don't think he would. So we would need someone that will financially support my time going into it, so that I can say, all right, I'm not just, you know, spending time away from my business to do this. Yeah.
And that's something a lot of people don't kind of get is when you're running a YouTube channel, certain things aren't worth it. Like I get asked all the time, when are you going to build this printer? And I'm like, when a kit shows up. So in my case, building printers is by content. So when I'm on stream, I'm in the green. But you know, while my channel is doing pretty good and I'm able to do full-time YouTube, I can't go out and buy $1,000+ printer kits all the time, because then I won't be doing financially stable things. So it's like, yes, I would love to build a VZ bot printer, right? On all metal VZ bot, go all out on it. But if I bought one of those, I would have to stretch that stream out for like half a year to recoup the costs. Obviously not that much, but like the ROI, I would be in debt for several streams before I break even, and then there's profit. And as a full-time YouTuber, I know people hate it when people are like, oh, you're just about the money. No, I'm not just about the money. This is a hobby that I enjoy.
It's a business. But you've got a family. You've got bills.
I got a mortgage, damn it. I just went and bought a car. Why did I do that?
Like, for people that, like, here, you want to know the secrets? I bill my time out at $150 an hour. When I am doing consulting for people, when I am assisting them, when I am doing whatever, I bill my time out at $150 an hour. If I can't make a third of that on a live stream per hour, that is a loss for me as a business. Yeah,
but you're running a business separate. You're running, you got a YouTube and a business, so you need to justify.
And YouTube is a business for me.
Or you know what I mean, though.
We're running $1,500 a month on average for cost for what the channel is costing us. And as a channel of our size, we're bringing in about $500 to $700 a month. So my expense from my business is about $1,000 a month that the channel is costing me to do stuff. So yeah, it is one of those things. Like when we're scanning, my low end for scanning is $250 an hour, and that's to use my $20,000 EVA to scan people, or scan whatever it might be, and that comes with a minimum. So when creators say, hey, make sure to like and subscribe, that helps the algorithm. That gets more people to watch our videos. When creators say, hey, if you want to support the channel financially, you can do so via Patreon, YouTube channel members. And we just added a PayPal option because the fees are a lot less. You know, you can do that. That money goes directly, and I always make a joke that goes directly into paying our editor, because he always likes to have little cameos in the videos. So he puts little cameos in the videos of him like eating Doritos or something funny, right? You know, very, you know, gamer editor style. You know, so that is always good fun. But it's true, right? We are trying to run a business, and I'm sorry. Like, you know, Uncle Jesse just bought a building.
Yep.
With his channel.
I'm
And
totally
if
not.
you don't-
I'm totally not jealous of his setup.
Well, and if you don't think it's because of Patreon, of the print farm work that he does, you're out of your mind. This is what the man does full time. And Clayton is an awesome guy. My story of meeting him is hilarious. I met him at a sushi restaurant in Florida randomly. I had just come back, so I had a thing. When I would go get a spine injection, so I've had 5 epidural spine injections since my injury. They don't work for me. But I would then go get sushi. So shots and sushi was my thing. If you do want to watch me get spine injections, there are 2 videos on our channel where you can watch me get a spine injection. It is kind of nuts. But I met Uncle Jesse randomly at a sushi restaurant in Lutz, Florida called Bangkok Sushi. It's one of the best damn sushi restaurants in the area. And I'm like, this has gotta be Uncle Jesse. But I'm like, he lives in Rochester. How the hell is this guy down in Florida? So we start like going to his Facebook. We start going to his Twitter. Lo and behold, it is him. So right as they're getting up, I said, I don't mean to bother you, but is your name Clayton? He's like, yeah. I said, you're Uncle Jesse. He said, I am. I said, I'm a big fan. I'm a content creator myself. We sit down and we talk a little bit about TPU printing, and that was it.
Nice.
And so the joke is always when we see each other, hey, when we leave, it's like, hey, I'll see you next time you go get sushi.
That's awesome.
You know, and so he's a good guy. He's a good guy, and you know, it is a very it's a very business oriented thing. It
is. I know it would be great if money was free and we could just all do this for fun, but at a certain point, you know, I made this hobby my job last year. So up until I would say probably about a year and a half ago, a little bit before I made the jump to going full-time YouTube, I was pretty much break even with the channel. Basically, all the income I brought in went to the channel, buying cameras, buying equipment, buying lighting, buying printers. Yep. I was pretty much, the channel was at an even plane. Luckily, I started a little in debt, but you know, or in the negative, I guess I would say.
It happens.
But my channel got to the point where it was pretty much self-sufficient pretty quickly. And at the time I had a full-time job, so that kind of balanced out. But when I made the switch to going full-time YouTube, you start to look at it differently, and you try to keep, obviously, that whole, you know, you don't want to be the guy who has the clickbait thumbnails and the make sure to comment, like, and subscribe, and the call to actions in the video. But the thing is, those work.
You have to.
You have to. There's a reason they do it, is because that's what they do. Even lately, I've changed the way I've been doing stuff because of the way the ecosystem changed. So like right now, you should not be doing, I did an intro for this weekend's video, which, by the way, if you're a member of the channel or a Patreon supporter, check out the Discord. The video's up already, and I'll be putting it on the social medias next. But tomorrow's video, I actually did a traditional intro for it, like a cold open intro. But I used to start all my videos with that little, you know, you saw it at the beginning of this stream, like a little, you know, the music, whenever. I don't do that anymore, because it turns out if people leave, your
retention drops, because they're here to see you. They're not here to see an intro.
Yeah, and then don't do outros. Don't do outros, because the moment you start, like I did it for this weekend's video, because it's kind of a review type thing, and it's already a 20-minute video, so most people are going to leave already. But the moment you start, okay, so if you enjoyed the video and blah blah, you go in your YouTube statistics and watch the timeline. You get your first drop. If you're good, you keep it there, and then as soon as you start talking about, boom, everyone leaves. So
I'm okay with that, because at that point, YouTubers already said these people want to. If they've watched that far, YouTube's like, they love your content. It's fine. But here's
the thing. I started. I do FPV when the weather's nice. I'm hoping to get back into it. Joshua Bardwell. He's the FPV guy. If you get into FPV, you subscribe to Joshua Bardwell, and he was talking about this on a live stream, and it's things he. Oh, there you go.
I can't talk too much about that project, but we are currently doing some FPV stuff for a client.
Are they Ukrainian?
I am not at liberty to discuss.
Okay. So he was talking about this on a live stream, and he brought about some good points that he had done to his videos recently that like helped out immensely with the retention. And what you do, YouTube loves binging. Okay.
You'll have to send that to me so I can watch it.
I can't remember which live stream it was, but I'm going to summarize it here. But YouTube loves binge watching. They want you to just sit there and autoplay, let the next video play and whatever. And what you want is you want YouTube to binge feed your content. So the home page is what YouTube wants. Yes, you have your page with your subscribers, but YouTube doesn't want you. YouTube wants you on the home page. So you have to get your content on the homepage, and YouTube will recommend things that you have watched. So if you've noticed, if you watch a channel, and if you watch 2 videos from a channel you've never watched before, and you go to your homepage, you'll have tons of them.
Yep.
So what you do is you don't do an intro. You just jump right into the content. And if you want to know why this works, go watch Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, he is like
one of the
He
best.
knows the game. Say what you will about his content, he knows the game. He doesn't have dead points in his video at all. He's always either talking about what's happening, referencing something that's about to happen, calling back. Like he's always like, you're always like, okay, let's go with this video. So he doesn't get that drop off that you have. Like his videos just start and go. But at the end, what you do, instead of doing an outro, you do your call to action, your whole support the channel, blah, blah. You do that somewhere in the video. You do that earlier in the video. Because if you do it at the end, people leave and nobody watches it. So you do that during the video, and you do that before the high point of the video, right? So before you get, okay, so now we built the printer, now we're gonna print. But before we print, if you wanna help support the channel, content I create, things I do, links in the description. Don't forget to like that smash button. Okay, let's print. So you do that there. That way people like, oh, what's going on? And then for your outro, you gotta have that hook, you just drop it. So what you do though, before you end it, so we've got our print off the Saval here. And by the way, if you want to watch the video where I unbox this machine, I'm going to put a link right here, and you throw that link up there that links to one of your videos, because then you start your outro. Well, that link's there because the person goes, you know what? He just did a video on explaining this new feature, Clipper. I want to install Clipper on my machine. And hey, if you want to install Clipper on your machine of your own, here's how you do it. Oh, I'm going to click that link. Now you just watch 2 videos back to back of mine. And then maybe you watch 3 videos back to back. So 2 things. One,
and it's over at that point, baby.
Now the YouTube algorithm goes, oh, hey, he kind of likes this 3D Musketeer guy's content. I'm going to start feeding it to him. Also, that old video just got a boost in views. I've done it to some of my older videos that used to get anywhere from like maybe 20 views a day, and then I do a callback to them and they jump up to like 150, 200 views a day, and then the algorithm goes, hey, this video is popular again. I'm gonna feed it out there to people. So you kind of have to play the game, and what you also have to do is make sure you don't get your account hacked. Well, you got to make sure your account doesn't get hacked like Linus just did.
Oh God! And so Jim Browning had his, and it was a very, very well-crafted phishing scheme. And I would bet dollars to donuts it was the same with LTT.
So which one was that? Jim Browning.
Jim Browning?
Yeah.
Jim Browning's one of the guys that goes after the scam callers.
Okay, yeah. But how did he get hacked?
Phishing. It was all phishing. He got an email saying that one of his videos was copywritten, and he clicked it, and it was complete phishing.
The company I worked for, we had not our company, but another mold company. One of their salespeople got an email. Oh, hey, here's the quote from the conversation we had last week, and he clicked the link, and their entire network got taken out and locked down, and they had to ransom it for Bitcoin. But they got that email. The reason they clicked that email, because the email came from another client of theirs that got hacked. So then what happened was our company just started getting flooded with all these emails from a company that we email all the time because they're another mold making. So
it looked legit.
It looked legit. So they had to lock everything down hardcore.
This happened to our strongest network security staff member. He got hit for one of those Discord scams and had his account taken because it was a DM from a friend of his that he'd been DMing. It looked like a legit link. He clicked it and it was over. It was done. And I had to nuke him from our server. I had to go through a nuke. It was so bad. And so now his name is still -test because it's like, out of all the people, you are not the one that I expected to, but it shows that this can happen. sometimes it can be a man in the middle thing, but I feel like LTT has a pretty decent level of network security. I would guess this is absolute phishing, and it was heavily targeted.
Yeah.
So at this point, any emails that come from anything that looks like YouTube, I don't click.
Yep, same here.
I just don't click. Because if it's like, oh, okay, one of your videos is copywritten, okay, I'll go check under my copyright tab.
Yep.
I'll take a look at it, and then we'll see from there.
So, live on stream, this happened probably a couple months ago now. My phone rings, right? So normally when I'm streaming, so like right now my little guy's at school, right? My stream schedule depends on my wife's schedule because she works at a place where she does shift rotation, right? Days and afternoons. So usually when I'm streaming, if I'm at the 11 a.m. time slot, my little guy's in school. I got to end this stream at 2 to go pick him up. And yeah, so I'm live streaming. I get a call from the school. Okay, my wife's at work. I'm contact one because I'm a YouTuber and I'm at home all the time. So I get a call. So I always check my phone whenever I'm live streaming if I get a call because it might be the school, and I've had to
always
end a stream to go pick up the little guy. So
absolutely,
I get a call, and it is Government of Canada, and I'm like, okay, here we go. So I answer the phone. Hi, is this so-and-so? We need to talk about your taxes, and we're the government. And I'm like, okay, yeah, sure. And she's like, no, I'm really the government. And I'm like, do you have any proof? Because they're like, we need you to verify your identity before we go any further. And I'm like, no, you're the government calling me about taxes. You know how this looks.
You send mail. You don't you don't call.
And then she's like, no, here. And then she dropped, I can't remember exactly what she said. And it's like, no, we need to confirm, this amount that you put on your taxes last year for this amount, and the reason you put is this. I'm like, oh, wait. Okay,
maybe this is legit.
This is the government. So it turns out it actually was the government, and they just, because I did my taxes last year, I wasn't full-time YouTube, so I just put like my YouTube income as other income and just paid a flat rate on it and just made it simple. And they just wanted to like, so where did this money come from? Because you just have the option. I just made money last year. And the government don't care as long as you pay your taxes on it, right? So I'm like, oh, I'm a YouTuber. I'm like, oh, so it's all from your channel? Yep. Did you sell anything? I'm like, just content, I guess. She's like, okay, you're good, bye. I'm like, okay.
So when we first got reached out to by the Smithsonian, they called us. And so it didn't show up as the Smithsonian. It was someone calling from their personal cell phone. They said, hey, this is so-and-so at the Smithsonian. I said, with all due respect, I don't believe you. And they said, well, I can send you an email. I said, go ahead. Here's my email. I'll wait for it. Lo and behold, came from @smithsonian.org. I'm like, okay. I said, no offense to you. It's just a very out of the blue call. She said, nope, I totally understand. That's why I had my computer ready to send you that email. And that's the first time on the phone I've ever said to somebody, I don't believe you. The second was when I got the call from E3D about the passing of Sanjay, because the final episode of our interview with him was supposed to come out the Wednesday that they told everybody about it. We actually waited an extra month to release it because of that.
Yeah,
and that was the second time I ever said, I don't believe you. I don't want to believe you.
Yeah, I got I remember I woke up to a DM from one of the E3D folks on Discord, like, hey, can we talk? And I'm like, okay. And it was
like, oh shit, what did I do wrong?
What did I do? Because I had just done the interview series.
What did I say?
Well, I had just put out like the last part of the interview series, and when we talked about that, I'm like, did we cover something we weren't supposed to? And yeah. Uncle Jesse just tweeted this out. From UPS, we are having trouble delivering your package. Oh, this is totally legit. Look at that font. Unless Uncle Jesse's one of those old people that use funky fonts on their phones.
Oh, well, I mean, geez.
Totally legit. Look at that email address.
Yeah, look at that email address. That's beautiful.
Totally legit.
Boy, that link looks so legit. Too legit to quit, even.
I know. I've started getting... Do you get all the emails from like completely random advertisers now? Like, I'm getting some random Chinese shirt company wants me to advertise their stuff.
Sometimes...
They come in
We're
waves.
getting ones from like legit brands, like Brilliant reached out via a partner, but
no, that's Market Watch. Don't go for them. They pay like shit.
They offered me $100. I told them I am not doing an ad read for you for less than $200.
No, they reached out to me a while ago, and I was like, oh my god, Brilliant, right? Because I'm still.
What I said too.
I'm still waiting on my what is it? Wait, HelloFresh. I'm waiting on my NordVPN. I'm waiting on my Raid Shadow Legends. I haven't got
HelloFresh. We have a couple of staff that are in some tight spots financially, and I reached out to him and said, hey, I'm happy to do an ad read. This is our channel. This is the views that we get, but I don't want any money. I actually want this many meal kits given out to these specific people in exchange for my talk. Like, I fronted them some cash to get through these tough times. Their day jobs cut their hours. You know how this stuff goes.
Yep.
But it's like, it's not my responsibility, but if I can utilize whatever stupid clout or whatever the hell it is that we get as content creators, I'm absolutely going to do it, because I need my people to be comfortable and safe and happy.
Yeah.
And if that means it's a little bit of extra effort on my part and I don't get paid for an ad read, but I know they've got food on their table, I don't give a damn. I will do it.
Did they reply to you at all?
No.
So I think for HelloFresh, they don't do direct. I use Stream Elements for like my overlays and my
sign up sheet on their website.
Do they now? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a Google form.
Okay, maybe it's just the American site because I'm Canadian. That might be it.
Oh, right.
That might be it.
Yeah.
So I know on Stream Elements they do. Stream Elements is actually kind of nice because they put out ads that you can apply to. So like right now on Stream Elements, let me check right here. Because if you use Stream Elements, that's how I get the fancy overlay is Stream Elements.
Yeah, I don't do any of that. I just use OBS.
Oh, there you go.
I'm not cool like you.
Oh, wrong email. That email? Is it? Yeah, it's funny. I have like my YouTube accounts under like my old email that I don't use for anything.
Yep. Same.
But well, my YouTube account's from 2006, so.
Oh, no. Ours is through a Gmail account that is not technically associated with the company. So if something comes into our YouTube at 3dmusketeers.com email, it's obviously a phishing attempt.
Yeah.
If it doesn't come in through the specific Gmail account that is associated with our YouTube account, which is not public, there is no way for somebody to... that's how we've done it. YouTube really needs to have better 2FA enabled.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling channels like Jim, channels like... I mean, LTT's 15 million.
And that's on their biggest channel. They have multiple channels.
They've got to be over what? Over 30 million, I would assume, between all their channels, right?
It would make maybe 25. Yeah, 2025. Because I know like their next biggest channel is like Tech Quickie with like 5, I think. But
yeah, so it's definitely over 20.
They have like what? They've got 2 massive facilities, 100+ employees. Like they're killing it, and I'm sure they have a direct line. Because the only time I've ever had communications with Linus, because every time I mention anything computer related, everyone's like, "Oh, just do a collab with Linus," and I'm like, "He's
you know how hard that is."
Yeah, and so the only time I've ever had any sort of communication with him was years ago. My YouTube channel was broken because when I applied for monetization was some weird period, because my channel is ancient. It's from 2006. And there was some weird data migration thing where my channel never got flagged for ads because my channel was created before YouTube had ads on it. So my channel happened to be imported when there was a bug in the system to a new database where ads never played on my channel. So I monetized my channel at one point, and then I'm like, okay, so I've got, super chats, I've got, memberships, I'm getting money, but I'm not getting any ad revenue. And I'm like, what that? So I kept reaching out to YouTube, and they're like, not all channel plays, or not all channels pay, or not all videos get ad rev. And I'm like, okay, so I reached out, and over like a couple months, I'm like, dude, something's broken here. So eventually they're like, oh, it's our system. What you have to do is you have to leave the ad program and then rejoin. And I'm like, okay, but if I do that, I lose all my channel memberships. Like everyone gets booted out as a channel member. And I'm like, at the time, that was like the biggest income earner on it was the only income earner on my channel. I'm like, I'm not going to get everyone back. Just turn it on. And they're like, we can't do that. So I put out a tweet and a video about it. And Linus actually reached out to me and DM'd. He's like, hey, if you need a hand or give me a shout or something.
You need a strong arm is really what it is.
But the funny thing is, I'm on the Voron team. I'm a member of the Voron group. I'm an admin on the Voron Discord. Voron's a 3D printer. A lot of nerds build 3D printers. A lot of nerds who work at Google build 3D printers.
Yeah.
I had multiple people who work at Google some in that department reach out directly and go, hey, we're going to take care of this. And then it got fixed that afternoon.
We got you, fam. Yeah, like that is kind of the crazy thing. Like we had someone reach out. I have to reply to his email again because he replied to me, but from Australia. We have a fan that's a Patreon member. So you have a public Discord, right? Totally public?
Okay, it's not public. You can only get to it from a link in the video. It helps keeps the bots away. So
right, but you don't gate it with a payment.
No, I have a public Discord. There is a super secret channel that doesn't exist, but it only exists for YouTube members and Patreon supporters. But beyond that, yes, it is public. Anyone can join.
So ours is fully gated. It's a $10 gate that gets you in because I don't need riffraff. And what it means is we actually have a really kind of cool, tiny little community of people, but they're from all over. It is really cool. We got someone from the UK. We have quite a few from Canada. Of course, the States are heavy. But we have a guy from Australia who, as we're up late hanging out, you know, this guy is just waking up and he's getting his day started. So
yeah, that's
cool.
Kind of why I like my stream times. I used to only stream Saturday night. So, and cheers Tank Ernan for the 5 gifted community memberships. I used to only stream Saturday nights 8 p.m. because at the time when I started doing the live streams, so when I started my channel, it was just, I created my YouTube account in 2006. I have World of Warcraft videos from back then on the channel. Go watch them.
Nice.
But it was just my normal YouTube channel. And then I got involved with, I got involved doing YouTube because as like with you started your podcast because you kept getting asked the same questions. With me, I was on the Voron team on the Discord and the Slack, and I kept the same questions keep coming up all the time. So I'm like, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to make some tutorial videos. So if you go back and watch my first like 3D printing content on my channel, it's basically, okay, these are the parts you should buy for your Voron. This is how you should put them together. It's just basic. It was recorded with my phone looking down at the mat, and that's it. And I edited everything in like Windows Movie Maker or something. Right. Super simple. That's with it. But then with COVID and the lockdowns, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna live stream because I got nothing to do. I can't go out. I had to rebuild. I think it was Tallboy was the first printer I built on stream, or it was a V0. I can't remember. It was one of the others. I'm like, I'll just live stream it because why not? So I did the Saturday night because at the time I worked at the tool shop. I was a shift supervisor for the afternoon shift. So I worked steady afternoons. So I worked from, what was it? It was like 2 p.m. to 1 a.m. or something stupid like that every day.
Yeah, swings.
And it was Monday to Friday, steady afternoons. So I couldn't do it. I didn't want to do it Sunday night because it's Sunday night. But so it was like the only night I could stream was Saturday night. So Saturday night, 8 p.m. And it was 8 p.m. because that's after the little guy went to bed. So little guy goes to bed, I do my live stream. But then when I switched to doing the push that actually gave me the like actually put it in my head that, hey, I can actually do full-time YouTube was I got laid off from my shop when I want to say October of 2020. I got laid off. It was really bullet. The shop I worked for got bought by a foreign investment firm. Everything went to shit. And by foreign investment firm, I mean an American company.
Yeah, no, that happens.
So I got laid off, and then they realized they fucked up and brought me back after like 3 weeks because, hey, oh no, we laid off the only guy who works steady afternoons, and nobody else wants to work afternoons, and oh shit. Yeah, they had a rush tool that had to ship that night, and everyone on day shift had like been there an hour late. And there was like nobody on afternoon shift because they let go of the only guy who works steady afternoons. And there was like their rotation didn't have like a free body. And all the PMs and like the supervisors are like, okay, get it on the truck. The truck will be here at 8. And all the workers are like, who's going to put on the truck? And they're like, oh, you guys are going to stay. And they're like, no, we're not.
No,
we're done. We've been here for like 13 hours.
We worked our time. We're done, homie.
We're at 13 hours
See you later.
already. Goodbye. You wanted us to come in early, and now you want us to stay. No. So they completely got screwed over, and then they called me like, hey, shit, could you come back in? So anyways, when they laid me off, I'm like, you know what? I'll do some streams during the week. So I did like, I can't remember the days or whatever, but I did some streams during the week. And the thing is, with me, the weekday streams, I get the Europeans. I have some crazy Europeans that like to stay up late and watch them. the Saturday night stream, but usually it's like 2 a.m. when I go live in some of these countries. So when I do the weekday streams,
we stream at the times we do for the reasons that we do.
I get the European audience, and I get the people who, you know, sit at work and can watch me at work. So my weekday streams became more popular streams. So I was like, oh, this makes sense.
1 p.m. seems to be like the time for me, at least.
1 p.m. Yeah, I do 11 a.m. or 2 p.m. depending on what shift my wife's on. So
right. Yeah, we have people like, oh yeah, I wake up and watch your stream. I said, I am so sorry. That's how you start your morning. But some people really love it. But yeah, we find that we get a lot of Europe. See, 1 p.m. for me is good because it's like that's 10 a.m. on the West Coast of the United States. So it's early, but it's not too early on a Sunday. So we always do our podcast live, which you got to come on and be a guest at some point. We gotta get that one figured out. Have some fun there. You know, it's kind of we can talk about the business of content creation, or you know, talk about your history and all of this. But yeah, we find that 1 p.m. is good. 2 p.m. is okay, but if you go more than about 2 hours, the Europeans have to go to sleep. Yeah. I like weekday streams, but I have a business, and when the phone rings, I have to answer it. Like, I'm not going to answer it today. But we've had 5 phone calls come through since the stream started, and some of them are probably crap. Wouldn't surprise me if quite a few of them were crap. But I know at least one of them was a client, and you know, I told them, hey, I'm unavailable during these times. Just, you know, I texted them real quick. They're like, yeah, sure, no problem. I said, if you want to come watch a stream, I'm streaming here, because a lot of our clients now know that we have a YouTube channel, because it's like, well, how does this all work? So here's actually a video on this. You can go check out our channel. Oh my God, you have so many videos. Yes. Yes, we do. Yeah, we do.
I was going to say, I was thinking of what I was going to say, and then I completely lost it right there. Oh, but sorry. Yeah, I would love to be on the stream. Like, so I'm trying to get this back to being a somewhat regular thing. Because here's the thing. When you do 3 streams a week for 3 hours, that's 9 hours of content a week. Taxing. And you could only build a printer so many ways. And you can only talk about a glorified hot glue gun that splooges molten plastic so many ways. So I at first, go watch some of my first streams. They're horrible. But like,
dude, our copywriter really wants me to do, like, you know, I rewatch my first video. I'm like, I am not doing that.
No, it's bad.
It's so embarrassing. I can't do it.
But what I've done is I model my stream not as a printer build stream, not as a, what I do is I watch Twitch and I see what works on Twitch for like some of the bigger, that's why you have background music. Because the biggest takeaway I got, I binge watched a ton of like how to be a streamer videos when I first got into this. And there's tons of guides out there, but the problem is a lot of the guides are based around, you're sitting there and you're playing Call of Duty. And that's it, right? Like you just sit there and play games. Whereas we're doing 3D printing, building, whatnot.
Yeah, people don't. It's something that I didn't understand until I had to do it. This whole, not only are you trying to do what you need to do, you're also trying to keep an eye on chat, because they're either going to be trolling you or they're going to be helping you. And if someone gives you money, right, you need to absolutely make sure that you acknowledge them, right? Because there is some acknowledgement that is due there. But it's like, if content creators, I would say 99% or greater, have to have ADHD, because there is no way you could function as a streamer without it, right? And like, if you're a Joel and you have producer David, amazing, and can help out a ton. But if you're guys like us, that it's just us.
Yep, it's right? I do all my edit. You have an editor at least, right?
Well, because I don't know how to edit, and I have another business to run.
Yeah. So for me, I do everything. The only thing I don't do is the music. That's Stream Beats.
We use the hell do we use? Oh God, I forget. It starts with an E. Epidemic sound. We use Epidemic.
I've been meaning to try that out, but Stream Beats is free, so I'm like, okay, I'll just stick with that. And it's
kind of, it's like $40 a year or something. Oh, that's not bad. I don't know.
But it's kind of become the music of my channel now, so it's kind of like my thing. But
no, go for it.
The biggest thing I took away was basically, you need to assume that somebody is joining your stream every 5 to 10 seconds. Somebody is clicking that link and your stream is opening up. And people have short attention spans, and thanks to TikTok, they're even shorter. So if somebody clicks on your stream when you're live and they are not immediately engaged, they leave. And the amount of time I've watched other content creators in 3D printing, and some of them do very good. I'm not going to name anyone positive or negative, but some people can pull it off really good. Other people, I click on their live stream, and these are channels that are like massively larger than me. And you click on their live stream and there's 20 people there. And the person's just doing whatever in complete silence, not talking, not doing anything, but just...
Even I'm bored.
And you leave. You leave.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing going on. So, yes, some people don't like the music. I've done polls. The majority of my audience prefers background music, so the background music stays. Plus, I like background music, so it stays. It's my channel. I do what I want. So, the background music buys you time. It fills in the dead air. Dead air is horrible. Yep. And then I talk a lot. You have to engage with your audience. The audience sticks around because they want to be part of the conversation. Otherwise, they wouldn't be chatting. And the more the audience chats, the more engaged they are. Bigger number, better person. YouTube loves that. But also, it's content. Reacting to the chat, talking with the chat, engaging with the chat fills the dead air. And so yes, while I'm building the printer, I'm talking about, okay, so now I'm going to put this screw in here, and oh no, that didn't work. Oh no, I did it backwards. I got to take it all apart. I'm talking there, but when I don't have anything to talk about what's going on, the chat is the content. So you have to be engaged. That's why I drift in all kinds of different topics. I love when I do, a 9 hours of content a week and I talk about politics for like 5 minutes and I get people that go in the chat in the comments like, don't talk about politics. We have enough of this in our daily life. You are ruining your channel. And it's like,
I will look into it because like we used to do background music, but then we have people bitching and moaning about, oh, I don't like this background music. Like we used to do it on the podcast. I'm not doing it anymore on the podcast. But for normal streams, I might look at using stream beats because that would
like right now I don't know how loud it is because all my audio is not normal. Right now I've had to play around with it. But like right now we got stream beats going for just a lo-fi track, just background.
And lo-fi is good. It like you said, it fills in the blank. But also having somebody, right? Solo streaming is way harder. Yeah. Like I've been doing solo podcasts for a while. And hilariously, they always do better. I don't know why. Like, I had more people on my stream 2 weeks ago than I did when I streamed with the 3D Print General. I don't know why. I know that, like, someone was saying that you have to keep the streams PG-13. No, you don't.
No, you could say fuck as much as, well, okay, you can't say fuck all the time, but sometimes you're allowed to say fuck. You just can't say fuck so many times in a row quick enough. So we can't say the F word anymore because I might be getting close to that limit.
My viewers love the Grant rants, right? Like when I did the second bamboo unboxing and it had all these problems, I got rightfully pissed off at it. And they're like, oh, you're faking it. I'm not faking it. I'm half Latin. And I know that you can't see it, but it's there. I promise. Look at how bad this facial hair is and tell me there isn't Cuban here.
You have had no luck. So for me, the only issue I've really had, we had the one stream with the runaway, and I love when, like, bless my chat, you guys are at critical mass where you guys are like, you become self-aware and you defend me when I'm not here. But like when I had the thermal runaway, or what I thought was a failure of thermal runaway, which, let's be honest, on pretty much every printer before this one, thermal runaway would have tripped well before this one eventually does,
I think you were more than within your right to do that.
I'm like, holy shit. And then people are like, oh, it's all staged. I'm like, my brother in Christ, it's a live stream. It's happening live. I can account for everything. I could show you everything that just happened and my reaction to it. And I, as a live personality, you accentuate. You move your arms more. You talk different. Like, I don't talk. Actually, I started talking like this in real life. But like, your mannerisms change. Yes, I am being entertaining because you have to be as a personality. So yes, if I was alone in my basement by myself and I had this issue, no, I would not have been dancing and doing all the stuff I was doing. But I'm in front of an audience of several hundred people, and a printer that I thought really highly of at the time was completely, in what I thought, shitting the bed in a massive way. And
I
I'm
agree that it
and I'm
was.
like, what the heck is this? It's been over a minute. You are smoking. Why aren't you shutting down? Everything else would have shut down by now. And you go on their site and, oh, it has it. Now it has it with 3 minutes, but it didn't. You can't find it. It doesn't say anywhere.
Yep.
You can't. It's all locked down.
Well, so like, you know, because of you, thank you for this, by the way. Every printer that we get in, we test it.
Yep.
So we did it on the Anchor Make stream. I'm like, oh, we're gonna print this part. They're like, no, test thermal runaway. I'm like, all right, fine, we'll test thermal runaway. I end up burning myself because the hotend on the Anchor Make is huge. It is like 3 times the size of a V6. It is massive, and I end up burning my finger on it. Everybody is just losing it. They're laughing at me, and I'm like, this hurts. Okay.
I've burned myself on stream before. I've cut myself with snips on the stream, the 10-hour V0 stream. I had to actually, it is this USB. I had to trim this USB. Focus. There we go. I had to trim this USB there to clear an extrusion, and this was on a 10-hour live stream, 7 hours in, and I took my snips like this, and I just went like that, and I just sliced right into my finger. And you can probably find it on the live stream, and I just super glued it back together and just said YOLO, but that hurt like a bitch.
Yeah.
And I ate a grub screw once because I had a packet of Nerds. And I don't know, my wife just bought me Nerds randomly. So I'm eating Nerds, and they like, a bunch of them had spilled on the desk, so I just kind of scooped them in my hand and went, ah, and I scooped up a grub screw. And so
How did you know? Because you missed it later on?
No, I crunched it. I thought I broke
Oh,
it.
you're like, oh, that's grub screw.
Yeah,
Shit.
I'm like, what the?
Yep.
There was the spider. We had the spider on stream once. What other fun things have happened on stream? Oh, well, it's in the intro, the electrocution. Back when I decided I'm going to check the voltage on my power supply to make sure it's 24 volts, and had a complete brain fart and measured the mains voltage. Yeah, there, the Nerds lead screws or grub screws in chat.
Oh, you have a grub screw emoji.
Yeah. What other
Beautiful.
fun? What other Oh, the head injury. Door doesn't open 360. Here, let me go make a cool cam. Door doesn't open 360. It opens to this. Oh no, I dropped my print that I had just printed. Let me reach down, and then I stood up, smashed into it as like I was getting ready to go live. And so I'm like, ow, that hurts. I put my hand up there. I put it down. My hand's covered in blood. So I'm like, oh shit. And so I go live, and I'm like, stream might be delayed. So luckily I have an overhead camera. So I'm sitting here with like the overhead camera.
Oh,
and
you're
like,
looking to see how bad
I'm
the cut
trying
is.
to see how bad it is. Well, like stream can't see. And I'm like, what's going on? Took some pictures, and I'm like, ah, shit. That hurt. That hurt a lot.
I've had a few head injuries in my day, and for those that don't know, it can be a minuscule little
bleeds.
cut. It just bleeds like crazy. Yeah. I have closed my head in the tailgate of a Jeep before.
Oh.
I was just 2 inches too far to the right, and when I went to slam the tailgate, it caught me right in the back of the head. 4 staples, blood everywhere. Yeah.
I've never had to get stitches. I've had injuries that I probably should have gotten stitches that I keep a bottle of Loctite 416 handy that I just glue it back together and call it a day.
Here's the thing. I live so far out, and this was bleeding bad enough. I'm like, this is gonna be a problem. We got to get an ambulance out here because chances are I might pass out.
Oof.
Well, an ambulance was 20 minutes away. The local hospital was 15.
Yeah, driving.
So I said, I live in the middle of nowhere. What is an ETA of an ambulance? I said, we are 20 minutes out. I said, all right, roll the ambulance. I'm going to be driving to the hospital. This is the route I'm taking. I'm going to stay online with you the entire time. If the line goes dead, you know, based on my speed, where I should be. Pick me up.
Yeah.
I made it. But yeah, that was so many years ago. Yeah, staples are no fun. I still have the staple remover and the stapler because I paid for those. Okay, all right. That was not a cheap hospital visit, but it was the fastest in and out of a hospital I've ever had, so I'll take it.
There you go. What is it in chat? Yeah, I know Joel's building is 2.4 with Mandic. So Mandic is, as far as I know, he's on vacation, or he just happens to be in the Pacific Northwest, and he's popping in to help Joel finally build the Voron that he's had for a while. He's finally building it. He's had that kit for a while. So it's like, why did you collab with him? I live in Canada on the other side of the continent. Me flying to Seattle to build a printer is not really feasible. Also, my vacation time for the year, I'm a YouTuber. Every day's vacation. Woo.
Yeah, right.
My wife, however, has a job. She's the responsible one. And I have a little kid in school. So she has to book time off for me to travel because the little guy's in school. And if I'm not home, there's nobody to pick him up and drop him off because it doesn't work that way because we don't have daycare.
Right.
Because I'm always home, so we don't have daycare. So she has to book time off for me to travel. So she has all the time booked off. She has to use her vacation days so that I can go do business stuff. So luckily, a lot of these events are over weekends, so she only has to book off like the Friday and the Monday. And then we have so basically she can't, I don't think she has any time left for this year to book off time for me to go anywhere else this year, basically, except for the events that I am going to. And Smurf is really on the very probably not going to happen, but I still need to try and figure out how to make that happen.
I want to do it so bad. If we can get a sponsor and E3D is okay with it, that is where we will shave my head.
There you
go. So what we'll do is we'll cut my hair previous, donate it because it's absolutely long enough to donate. And the deal was always the top 3 donors get to shave whatever they want into my head. And I will leave it like that. I will film content like that, and it will be on the internet forever. And if they can do more than 15 grand, you can go after the beard too. Take it.
This is such a part of me now. I haven't shaved. Care. Zombie Hedgehog 149 cheers, and PF Dennis gifted 5 community memberships. I haven't shaved since I got out of the army, and that was in 2014. And I did shave once since then. It was like just after for like our engagement photos. Yeah. But like this is like I don't remember. Every now and then I find an old. It's like when YouTube suggests an old video of LTT with Linus without the beard, and you're just like. Right. Every now and then I see a picture. Every now and then I see a picture of me without the beard, and I'm like,
I am okay with that because, like, you know, the goal was always the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Then everything happened because we have a member on our staff who's a Make-A-Wish. Well, we have a member on our staff who's a Make-A-Wish recipient.
Okay.
And we were a part of that gift. So like we've worked with Make-A-Wish, which is amazing. It was one of the most fulfilling things I've ever done. And he ended up actually being a phenomenal staff member. He's working with us currently, actually. He's on spring break for high school. So he's doing some work with us for some content creation and all that. But when everything that happened with Sanjay, I reached out to him and said, hey, how do you feel about a split between the SMF and Make-A-Wish? He said, you know, if we would go all Sanjay, I'm okay with that. He said, but if you still want to have some sort of a split, you can. My hope is I can fly him out as well so that he can still do the shaving. The deal was always he was going to be the one to shave my head.
Yeah.
But if we have in-person people being able to bid, then it would make sense the people that win, if they are in person, get to do the shaving.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'll be really weird, but that's what I committed to do in August of 2020 on a podcast. I committed to not cutting my hair until my back is fixed. Well, we're almost 3 years deep. And in fact, April 9th is going to it'll be Easter Sunday. That's going to be a podcast where I'm going to talk about my entire experience with having a back injury and how that's affected my life. But it's not fixed yet, and I'm just kind of tired of having the long hair. So it is now time to look at getting rid of it.
Yeah, my hairline is going north pretty quick. So
I'm okay noticed, so
yeah,
far.
I'm starting to get the mad widow's peak, and it's getting thin. So
yeah.
The hats are this is totally billboard advertising. That's why I wear the hat. It's totally for the advertising. Let's see. Ellie was asking what event. So as of right now, for sure, Rocky Mountain Rap Fest, I will be there. Rapid TCT Chicago, I will be there. Midwest Rap Fest, I will be there, and I want to host an event there for charity, hopefully Sanjay charity. I have an extra switch wire frame that I need to do something with. And I have a bunch of other random components, and I totally don't want to emulate the idea of the LTT or LTX case toss with a printer frame. And we'll see.
Okay.
So talk about more of that later. But yeah, so Murph and then Earth. I will be there for Earth. Those are all I have. I don't have sponsors for all of them yet, but they're all booked out, and I should be able to attend all of them at a minimum. Smurf is a big one. So the big problem with Smurf, one, it's on the other side of the ocean. So flights are expensive, lodging is expensive. It's a big sunk cost to go to England for, and Smurf isn't something I would fly in on a Friday, fly out on a Monday. That's the problem. Like, I'm not going to go to England for 3 days. Tom flew to Earth for like 24 hours. But the problem is my wife's job, that time period is blackout.
Tough one.
It's blackout. She can't book time off during that period. So that's kind of a big thing we got to figure out. So
babysitter, I guess, right?
Well, the problem is her work schedule. We don't have a babysitter. We've never needed one.
It's tough to trust people.
Yeah. So yeah,
set up a live stream. Let chat deal with it.
He'd come, just leave him in the room and just be like, "Here you go, build a printer.
Here you go, have fun with chat for 3 days."
Yeah. So I think it's also a shift change for my wife. So like she'll be on afternoon. So we would need somebody to pick them up from school and watch them till like 10:30 at night, or bring them to school. That would be the easy one. So Nana, I can talk to Nana. We'll see, but Nana does Nana things. So
yeah, don't drop that on family, obviously, unless you can. Like, and this is why I am so gracious that I have a cat that does not give a single solitary damn. Like, we went to Earth.
We have a dog, so we can't.
I was gone for 6 days. She's got an automatic feeder, an automatic water fountain. It does all, she's got a water fountain, does it all on its own. Cat poops in a box, don't have to deal with that stuff. Cat can go an entire week without scooping that box, does not give a damn.
Yeah.
So it's great. I can just leave. And the cat watches the shop, watches the printers. I leave this camera on, and I'll turn on some of the security cameras on the inside of the house where she tends to sleep, so I can just make sure she's okay. But then I can leave because I don't have kids, I don't have anything like that. Ellie is asking which ones I'm going to. I'm going to Rocky Mountain and East Coast Rep currently. Everything else, like Rocky Mountain, is over $1,000 in cost for me to go to. Yeah. And flights, I don't have a sponsor for that.
Rental.
Yeah. So, and Amber and I have decided that we're going to stay a couple of extra days in Denver, hang out. She's got some family, her dad and her sister are out there, and the botanical gardens are apparently gorgeous. So we have an Airbnb inside of Denver. For Earth, I mean, I booked the hotel, but
I haven't booked anything for Earth yet. I gotta book my flight and hotel for Rapid still. Shit, I gotta do that.
I still have to do mine for Austin on the 7th. So if there is anyone in Austin, Texas, and you want to get together on the 8th, that next day, let me know. I'll be looking for places to film content with, because if I'm out there anyways, and my job is done on Friday, and the last flight out occurs during the time I have to scan, I'll fly out late Saturday and be able to hang out with people or something on Saturday. But apparently there's something in Calgary in May.
Yeah, Calgary does have like a rep rap thing. I don't know. I don't think it's a full on rep rap fest, but they do have an event. Maker Meraki, $20. Cheers. Great live stream. Lots of good info. Yeah, these are fun. I gotta get more people on this. I gotta start doing this again. I did 3. I had Max on, I had Steve, and I had Modbot Daniel. I did like 3 of them in I don't know how much of a period that was, and then I just stopped doing them because Joel is supposed to be on one of these. Anytime, Joel.
Same.
Joel's busy.
Same.
He's building Vorons right now. Finally.
He'll go on the first layer or the next layer. I forget what his channel name is, Levy. But the both of us have incredible trouble booking him.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. Maybe I should just spam everyone on Twitter to get guests.
I mean, apparently that's the right way to do it.
I don't know.
And I will say, I talked with Jonathan off air. We had about a 45-minute call. He seems like a good guy. I don't, but he's very, very business minded.
Yeah.
But a good guy.
I've taken a peek at his other channels, and I I have a pretty hard stance on something he promotes a lot of that I do not agree with. Crypto. I personally detest
I knew what
crypto.
it was.
I've mentioned this on stream many times. I think it's a flat out scam, and I don't support it pretty much any way in its current form. So that's kind of a thing for me.
A little bit in crypto, but it's
well. Here's the thing: crypto. It is. I view it. It's gambling. It's gambling. It should not be promoted in the way it is right now. I view it as straight up gambling, and it's pretty much nobody wants to be one holding the bag, and everyone's just trying to sell it so they can sell the bag to somebody else. That's kind of how I view it.
My brother and I have an absolute metric ton of Dogecoin that we mined in college.
I had
so we have
40,000 at one point, and
we
then
still
I
have over 250,000 laying around, I believe.
And the thing is, like at the time, it's like whatever you mined it. There was like the NASCAR car that was sponsored by it. There was a few Reddit memes.
We pushed them to that,
and then it completely died because all crypto died. And then all of a sudden, it's like, oh, I hope you remembered you had them because they're suddenly worth like 30 cents each. Oh great, now I can't support Linus. LTT is supporting crypto now too.
What crypto?
Their site got hacked and it was promoting crypto.
All right. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's funny. And if they don't use that as a joke at some point, they're missing out on really quality content. Yeah, I'm in Pocket, but it's a local thing, POKT. It's here locally. And I know the founders personally. It's like $200 I have it in. That's like, you know, I still get invited to all their cool crypto bro parties, which are unlimited booze, though I'm not a huge drinker, but it's a fun time for me. I don't get dressed up a lot, and I love dressing up. I love putting on a suit. It's like I got invited to a video game launch party, and I toss on a fitted suit.
There you go.
Because why not? So there is a picture of me online with Peter Sassaman from Haptic Solutions, where we went to a video game launch party.
Oh, yeah, I've seen those pictures. Yeah,
I'm in a suit. No tie, because they said it was a cocktail thing, so no tie, but you know, still went with the jacket. Mostly because my business cards are so thick, I can only carry, because they're laser cut. I need something else with more pockets in it.
Every stock investment is gambling. Well, yes, but stocks are actually tied to a tangible asset of some sorts. A monkey JPEG is only worth what a monkey JPEG is because it's a monkey JPEG. And then crypto is other than Bitcoin, the only other good cryptos or stable cryptos are tied to Bitcoin. Like they're only valuable because you can exchange them for Bitcoin. You have cryptos that flash in the pan and completely bust all the time. You have FTX and all those other scams, and they're all scams. Like it is, the odd bank and company does invest in crypto.
You might get lucky, or you might lose everything.
They also invest in everything because it's a potential way they may make money. It is what it is. Businesses also do shady shit to make money. Doesn't make it right. It's completely unstable. If my currency swayed the percentages that crypto does any regularly, I would like, nah. And then people are like, oh, it's an alternative to real money. What if real money fails? We'll have crypto. I'm like, my brother in Christ, if the US dollar goes to zero, we're in some monkey JPEGs and crypto and your Bitcoin. Do you really think we're going to be in a situation where that shit's going to be viable? You're going to be lucky if your economy
goes
works.
to zero. The world will have collapsed considerably sooner than that. But, you know, on potential flashes in the pan, should we talk about bamboo?
Yeah, sure. Why not? I think we're at the point. I think the stream is spicy enough at this point. So bamboo.
Are we spicy enough to get into it?
Yeah. So here's the thing. Bamboo is DJI. That's how I view them. I view them as DJI. Yes, they are not DJI. Sure, they're founded by all ex-DJI engineers, and I'm sure some of the venture capital that went to, because remember, when they put the Kickstarter up for this to raise money for it, they had already had functioning machines with all the tooling.
It was done.
The machine was done. They just wanted your money early, so they launched a Kickstarter. So here's the thing with DJI. We
have members of our Discord going through the logs that we can see. And we can see that they are backing up to a server. And now we're gonna add Wireshark onto my network. Oh, good, it just finally finished. We're going to add Wireshark onto my network to see what it's sending, because we don't know. But the printer log files are still not cracked, and I have a $500 bounty for the first person that can crack it. And if you're interested, I will send a log file that I have for mine. Just email me, youtube@3dmusketeers.com. $500 bounty to the first person that can crack it, because I refuse to give Bamboo any log files until I know what is being sent in it.
Yeah, I don't get all. Okay, I know the 2A guys love printing and they print on Bamboos because Bamboo. If I was doing that stuff, why would I use a printer that talks through the cloud?
Morons.
Why would you do that? But anyways, there was like I think it was 3D, or who was it? Somebody shared a news story where they were printing.
3D Print General. Yeah, it was sent to me. I sent it to him, then he tagged me in it. Yeah. I'm like, oh, there go my notifications for the day.
For those that don't know what this is, in the States, in the United States, you can manufacture, I believe it's in most states, I'm pretty sure, because it's a federal thing. You can manufacture firearms for personal use completely fine. That's what a ghost gun is. I can go in my garage, get a block of aluminum, build an AR-15 lower receiver. As long as I use it for personal use and I don't sell it, I'm okay. Correct. I'm okay. I'm allowed to. I can print a gun.
You don't possess any licenses, right? The average American can mill and produce their own firearm. In certain states, you are still required to serialize and register it, but states, particularly like Florida and Texas, they just don't care.
Yeah.
Yeehaw.
So,
yeah, yeehaw.
So you can print a Glock frame, buy everything else that's not, because the frame is the Glock and has the serial number, but you can buy everything else for it, put it together online, and then boom, you have a functioning firearm, and you didn't have to do anything within the law. So there are people that print and sell frames illegally. You're not supposed to, obviously, it's illegal.
It's a federal crime. It will get you 10 years minimum in a federal prison.
So if you were printing firearms in a shady way, why would you use a printer that everything that it does goes through the cloud? Because even the webcam, when you're in LAN mode, you can't see the webcam. For the webcam to function, that camera has to take the image, send it to the cloud, and then you see it on your app. You cannot monitor this printer LAN only mode. You have to send the camera. And even like, I had this talk with David about printed solid and why Prusa getting printed solid is a massive boom for Prusa. Prusa now has a cage code.
Nexus and a cage code. Yeah.
Cage code. That allows Prusa to sell printers to the U.S. government.
Except there is one particular problem. They are not a wholly owned U.S. subsidiary.
They can sell to some. They could sell to some, as far as
they have. A lot of them buy through me.
Yeah. So the thing is, though, certain places, security is a massive thing.
Is for me.
Okay, if you are printing stuff that is prototype, company secrets, NDAs, government.
NDA, ITAR.
Yeah, ITAR is massive. Okay,
International Traffic in Arms Regulation.
Yeah, ITAR is a massive monolithic thing. When everyone was getting angry at old Muskie Boy for neutering Starlink in Ukraine, it was because of ITAR. They did not want Starlink falling under ITAR rules, because the moment you fall under ITAR rules, it adds so much paperwork.
The world changes.
Yeah, it completely changes the scope of your product the moment it falls under ITAR.
Yeah, and to be clear, violating ITAR comes with a minimum $250,000 fine and up to being tried and convicted for high crimes, including treason against the United States, which is a crime punishable by death.
Yeah, so don't fuck with ITAR.
That's why we don't mess around.
Yeah, so if you were printing that sort of thing, would you have a machine that to update the software, the only way to do it is through a cloud network, and you can't air gap this machine? You technically can, but
you just don't connect it to anything.
You don't connect it to anything, but you don't have control over the Wi-Fi. You cannot get this machine without Wi-Fi. And some places that is a security thing. There are places that use a Prusa because a Prusa is dumb.
The way that we get around this, we have a completely segmented network, and it goes on. Once that's on the network, we then block it from talking outside the network. It still thinks it's internet connected, so everything runs as you would expect. I can get the webcam stream to work sometimes, then I have to allow it to be able to ping its own server. Yeah. But I can just go into my router and say, talkie outside.
Yeah.
And then the bamboo will start to throw errors that it's connected but can't talk to the outside world. I am at the point right now. So like, for those that don't know, I am on my second bamboo. My first one was an absolute lemon to the point where it couldn't print the lemons for the video where I called it a lemon. It would not do it. So just like absolute lemon printer. And I reached out to Bamboo and said, look, I will give you guys one more chance. You have every opportunity to ship the printer to someone in the States, get it tested, get it checked, then get it sent to me. I will give you every opportunity. I want this narrative to change. But I'm going to unbox it live. You will see me cut the tape. You will see me do the first print. If there are any problems, I am not letting you down easy. And my AMS feeder number 1 is jammed with their orange filament that broke off in it. The cutter sometimes does not work. I cannot get the thing to connect to Bamboo Studio. It is currently on my regular network because there's nothing on it. We're not doing ITAR stuff right now, and our ITAR computer is fully air-gapped. So we have no issues with it. It does not have a network card level of air-gapped. You must, the only way to access it is to access it here. Oh. You must be here. And
if you don't know what air gapping is, it's basically if you have a computer, it doesn't have a Wi-Fi card, it's not plugged into the air. It's basically air gapped so that information on the computer cannot be accessed outside of the computer itself until the Israelis put a virus on it by dropping a USB stick that you plug into it that starts to modulate the fan RPM so that a sensitive enough sensor can read the Morse code and get the data off of it through a wall, because they will do that. So technically it's impossible to fully air gap everything unless you're in space, and I'm sure they'll still figure out a way. So that's what air gapping is for those that don't know.
Yeah, and we have the pit of alligators that every house in Florida comes with to deal with any potential intruder alerts. And I live on some land in the middle of nowhere, so I wish anybody the best of luck. Like the Bamboo Boys said when they posted my home address, said that they were going to come by. I said, if you'd like to play F around and find out Florida Man Edition, you're welcome to. But I'm a better shot than you, pretty much guaranteed. But nonetheless, ITAR is a whole different world. Yeah. And, they've just requested my studio logs as well as my printer logs. And I've told Cyprian again, I'm not sending those to you until you allow us to see what's in them. They said, well, you can see what's in the logs for studio. So I went through the log studio, but then I posted them into our tech support channel in our Discord and said, I need to know what's in it. And they've already identified 3 different protocols that are backup protocols, but we don't know what it's sending. But it is taking longer than backing up print settings would take, because backup print settings should be like instant.
So
right?
So the machine's taking your something and sending it somewhere, but you don't know what. Is that what's going on?
Yeah, it's sending something, but we don't know what it's sending. And we I think they know. We have an IP address, but we don't know where that IP address is right now. I'm also not really paying attention to my Discord at the moment. But we've got some pretty awesome tech guys in there that are going through it. And the ones that are hardcore uber geeks at it, I have, DM'd them my log file from my Bamboo. My old Bamboo, not the one that I currently have, the old one. So that we can really look to see, because I agree with you. We don't know what is coming through this.
Yeah.
And Mr. G is asking, isn't Discord tied to the Chinese government? To some extent, it is.
Tencent is invested in a lot of companies.
Yeah, it is invested in it. And that's why any ITAR products that we do are done on a different communication system. In fact, most of them are done via telephone only.
Yeah.
So, that's another thing. If they were local, we would be in person only. But yeah, TLDR, ITAR sucks and it's a lot of work. And if you are really trying to get through that kind of thing, I wish you the best. It is very expensive to get certified, and it is very expensive to maintain said certification. But the money is good if you're willing to play that game.
And there's a ton of rules.
Yeah, and don't ask a lot of questions, because the more questions you ask, the answers you're not going to like. But nonetheless, while we aren't currently doing any ITAR work, we still remain ITAR compliant, and that particular machine is a problem.
Yeah.
And something that we have a dedicated network just for IoT devices, so that we don't have to deal. So it's a completely separate ingress into it's a separate modem. So they're running on different traffic levels, but It is complicated, and bamboo just doesn't give us that access, right? We've had issues with the tacoed beds. That bamboo says it's not a problem. Well, it is if you want to build big parts and fit them together. Your prints won't be flat. And I got to talk with Sam about this, because I think Sam probably has the most experience of people that I would know about this. God, it's so much quieter in my office now that the bamboo just finally stopped. I forget how loud they are. But Sam did that big droid print, and I'm curious to know how
Pooch is here. Hi, Pooch.
Yeah, hey, Pooch. I'm curious to know how clean his seams were because of how the beds are warped. But I am very concerned because, let's be real here, there is really not any level of economies of scale that make the X1 Carbon a printer that is a profit maker.
No.
There just isn't.
No.
There is not a chance. Like, I have been in product development for over a decade.
It's a loss leader.
There is no, what are they making money on? The answer
future.
is I don't think they are. Yeah.
So here's my thing. So we're gonna scale it back from ITAR, because obviously this is an
ITAR's a very deep subject, that is
niche. Yeah. So Bamboo is founded by a bunch of ex-DJI engineers. I'm assuming that's where a lot of the VC money came from, or from people tied to that. Makes sense. People know people who work together. So come out with a printer. It's going to be like DJI. If you do any FPV, look how DJI is in the market. They're also banned by the DoD. So they're going to come out with a printer that works really good, but it's going to be their own ecosystem. If you want to use their machine, you have to use their software, their hardware, things that are compliant with their software, their hardware that they have control over, and it's going to be a walled garden. What you get with that walled garden, though, is a machine that functions very well. Unless you're Grant. My machines have been great. Like,
dude, I want this thing to work so bad.
As much as people say I'm a bamboo hater, I use it all the time. It prints, other than Melania's thing breaking off there. It prints really well. I use mine. They do. But there are caveats with it. So I think it's sold at a loss to get more people into the ecosystem right now, because right now 3D printing is stagnant. There hasn't really been any big change. Creality can shit out a million V-wheel bed flingers and people will just keep buying them. So why innovate?
They're cheap.
Prusa got, they got screwed over with COVID delays and them bringing everything in-house and supply issues with rails. It is what it is, okay? I don't own a Prusa XL. I haven't paid for one. Nobody has actually, except for the people who paid the full price, have paid for them, which nobody has except for the people that have them shipping. So you can complain all you want. They don't owe you a printer yet. It's an optional down payment, right? So you can be angry at them, but they don't owe you anything until it ships. So anyways, it is what it is. So then Bamboo comes out. They basically did what DJI did. You look for a market that has a few kind of dominant players and everything's kind of open source, but it's kind of a tricky, finicky audience and it's not something everyone can dive into. And then what you do is you come out with a polished product that just works. It's out of the box. You don't got to do anything. It just works. You get a ton of people into that market. You take over that market. And then everyone who is in the market using your product has trouble switching to something else. So for example, FPV.
You get ingrained into an ecosystem.
If you fly a DJI quadcopter, you're going to have trouble flying a traditional FPV quadcopter, right? Because the controls are all different, the cameras are different. It's a completely different ecosystem. But people who fly DJI are used to flying DJI, so they just keep buying DJI. So what I think it is they came out with this printer. They maybe on the P1P, because they stripped it down so much, there might be some profit there. I doubt it though. They're either breaking even or barely making, or they're breaking even or they're whatever. But
you worked in a mold shop. There are all new injection molds made.
Each of those injection molds, even the stamping molds,
is a few grand.
The whole frame is custom, which sucks for them because everyone's like, oh, they're going to come out with a bigger one. How? They have to redesign the entire machine because they are
coming out with a bigger one. It has been confirmed to me by sources that have access to beta. They are coming out with a bigger machine. It is there. It does exist.
It will be interesting to see how they come, because it's got carbon fiber rods, and rods at 300 mil bigger get really droopy. We ran into that issues, especially because they use the nozzle to probe the bed. So your flex in the rod will be different in the middle than on the outside. Maybe they can compensate in firmware. Who knows what the firmware is like? So anyways, you sell it as a loss leader, you get people into your ecosystem, you get dependent on people in your ecosystem, and then they'll just keep buying your product because they don't know how to do a PID tune or calibrate E-steps, and they'll just keep buying your product, and then you just gradually increase costs on your captive market until you are making a profit.
To some extent, though, right?
And
They've
for the
done...
record, just because, yeah, hi, these are my DJI goggles that I use on my DJI optic quads. I fly DJI for digital FPV. I don't own DJI quadcopters, but some of my quads have the DJI Vista units, and I use DJI V1 goggles to fly DJI. So yes, you can have disagreements with a company and still use their product. It's not all black and white.
Work well. And to be clear, right, the vast majority of people that have bamboos are having decent times. I wouldn't say they're having amazing times, but you know, some of the issues are starting to come out. Things like wearing of the graphite, you know, on the rods, issues with bed warping, issues with bed thermistors being completely non-replaceable at all. It's not replaceable.
Don't forget they use a piezoelectric sensor for the bed. Yeah. So when the nozzle hits the bed, there's 3 piezoelectric sensors in the bed, and it detects that force. We played around with piezoelectrics and Vorons years ago. I still have some in my drawer of stuff that have been depreciated from Voron dev work that never saw the light of day. We abandoned it because they were inconsistent and unreliable, and they're using it on a mobile bed.
I will very much argue that point, because one of our staff, Pyroball PCBs, makes the Pyro Piezo, which is accurate to 1/10,000th of a millimeter. That is what he's running right now in terms of accuracy.
But what is
it? It has to be done well.
What is the use case he's using it in?
3D printer leveling systems.
Okay. So in Bamboo's case, what was happening was the cable was moving. The cable that connects it to the controller board was moving. And as the bed moves, the cable moves, and it moves in the socket. And I was getting inconsistent reading. It would error out. I took a piece of tape and I taped the wire in place, and it works just fine now.
So Pooch from Repcord has a statement about our pricing. He said, I'd argue your perception of costs are probably a bit slanted by how much more expensive stuff here is versus China. Probably not a huge margin, but not sure it's a loss leader. And that's fair, because like even when we get Chinese manufacturing, we're paying for profit for some company. So yeah, you know, they might be.
I just wiped my rails down on the Bamboo.
But yeah, I don't think they're making a lot of money. And I think this would be, this is nothing but a theory, so, you know, take this with whatever grain of salt you want. I think that's why their team is not growing as fast as it should be growing, because they should have no problem hiring people. There are so many disciples for their program and for their printer. They should be able to get support people on pretty much instantly. I have never had someone answer a support ticket other than Cyprian. To be clear.
Also,
he's the only person that runs support, from my understanding.
Compare like to like. An X1C is what? It's $11.99, $10.99.
It's no one's really buying it without the AMS. So
true. But even that, so it's $1,000 machine, $1,100 machine. What else is an $1,100 machine? Even with cheaper Chinese manufacturing, Asian market manufacturing. Creality has a big bed flinger, their M4 or whatever they're calling it. That's $1,000 machine.
Is it really?
Yep.
Jeez.
Look at the Cheaty machines. The Cheaty machines.
Cheaty, I think, makes good profit though.
That's the thing though. They're selling those for $2,000. Could they still make profit at $1,000? Bamboo's making profit, and the Bamboo has a heck of a lot more going on than the Cheaties.
Yeah, it would like, this is why I put a call out to Bamboo saying, hey, I would love to interview somebody from your company to talk all about the business of Bamboo, because I am curious. I know I'm not the only one that is curious, and I'd love to know more about how it functions. But no. Probably not going to get that. And Winslow says I'm probably flagged to go up a higher level of support. I ran a completely incognito account until I finally sent them that video of the 10 things I love and hate, which had that code they asked for. Now they know it's me, but prior to that they didn't. You know, literally, if you go to my Twitter post about it, my username is right there. It's user _ a bunch of numbers, and it's not tied to a 3D Musketeers email. It's tied to a personal Gmail account of mine. So unless they really knew my personal Gmail account, they're not gonna. Yeah, I don't think they knew. They know now, but they didn't know previously.
So yeah, so I think at the end of the day, the biggest thing is we're coming at this from people that grew up in an open source. Everything was all free and it was all happy and everyone got along and everyone was happy. And now we have this moving in on our turf. It's locked down. It's closed source. It's a black box. We don't know. The company itself they're just Bamboo. They don't come to events. Nobody interacts with them really. Like it's the outsider
They're a
step.
company. They exist.
Yeah. So yeah, here's the thing. I use this machine. Yeah, I have tons of critiques about it. There are things I don't like. You can't move the bed up and down by more than 10 millimeters at a time. So you have to sit there and mash to move it around. I can't just go G1, X0, Y0, Z0, go. I can't do that. The webcam, it only works through their app. So I have two of them. So I can't watch both machines at the same time unless I want to open their app twice and take up a whole monitor. So I wish you could pop up. Like we're so used to driving a car with using our right foot as the brake and your accelerator's on the right and your gas is on you know what I mean? It's so close, but
you can pop out into OBS now. So they do have the ability to run it into OBS. So you could do it that way, but still and the Bamboo Handy app, don't even get me started on security.
I won't install that on my phone.
Non-existent. It's non-existent.
I have a burner phone that I don't have anything on that I use for the Bamboo app. I refuse to put it on my main phone. I don't trust it.
Yeah, so Super Caro is one of our members as well, and they said I still want Grant to review a P1P with lemon side panels. And I told Will, I said, Will, if you guys want to have one of the funniest unboxing videos, please work with somebody at Bamboo to print lemon side panels, install them on a P1P, and send it to me blindly. It will be the funniest video and will show that you guys actually have a sense of humor, because we don't really know anybody other than Will in Bamboo, right? They're a very private company, but again,
I have one. I had a call with them. When they first sent me the machine,
really,
I had a call. I can't remember their names, but there was one guy who reached out to me, and then there was somebody else there. It was one of their engineers, and I had a full-on discussion with at least 2 or 3 people from the company. And they seem fine. Here's the thing. I don't have anything against them, right?
No, same.
It's just, just some of the things they do, I critique. Okay? If I didn't like the machine, why would I have 2 of them I don't print all the time, but 2 of them on my bench of the 5 printers I use all the time?
Right. Yeah.
You can critique something and still think it's a valid thing. I want it to be better, and I wish I knew what it was doing behind the door.
I would love to have mine, be useful. And I was really hoping this one was, but this whole, and I figured, oh, well, maybe we can update it. I connect it to my network, it'll just, pull down the firmware updates. No, it actually doesn't matter. You must be connected. You must have your printer connected to Bamboo Studio. Sorry, my phone keeps ringing. You must be connected into Bamboo Studio for your printer to accept updates.
Yeah.
So my printer is actually locked on the firmware that it came with because it's on my network. I can see it. It's been given a static IP because they don't like dynamic IPs for some reason, or at least my old one didn't. So I have it set up identical to the old one. I can see it in Studio, but Studio can't grab it. And so I'm stuck. And that does constitute a lemon for me, because
if you can't,
with all the hate that I got for not connecting it to my network, go look at my video, the last stream that I did. It is full of people saying, it's your fault because you didn't update it, yada. Well, I can't. And I'm glad that I didn't do this on stream, because this would have had the stream rage quit before we even got the first print. Because no one wants to sit there and watch me type, because you can't see the screen that I'm working on. God, you can't see that. You can't see the screen for the Bamboo because I got to type in my Wi-Fi password. So you can't see any of that. So I said, I'm going to, show it as it came. Lo and behold, that's all I can do, is use it as it came. But to be clear, when you go above $5,000. Okay, I mean, let's ignore Ultimaker and some of the new stuff coming out of Ultimaker has some
new from Ultimaker.
Yeah, well, DRM is a thing. Walled gardens is a thing.
Oh yeah, totally.
Right? And the thing is, those walled gardens also come with service contracts that guarantee uptime or something like that. These machines are too cheap to have service contracts. There's no amount of money that you could pay to make a service contract valid as far as Bamboo is concerned. Like my ProJet 660, $90,000 printer has a $9,000 a year maintenance package to it. So it's $9,000 that includes someone to come out and fix it. $4,500 is just parts, and it's as many parts as I need, because 3D Systems has done the math to say you're not going to order $4,500 worth of parts on average. So there's no point in us charging more than that. They've done the math, right? They'll lose on some, they'll win on most. Business model, bingo bango. But you know, the walled garden has its benefits. There are massive benefits to this walled garden, right?
You have a lot more control and the ability to keep things way more consistent.
It is, yeah. And, you know, of course, there are clones out there right now. The clones aren't very good.
Yeah.
But when you go buy a Bamboo hotend, and it's from Bamboo, it's going to go work. It's relatively cheap. The fact they made those hotends that cheap
they're
is
hotends.
phenomenal.
People are putting them in Vorons. It's actually apparently a pretty decent hotend. The only downside is you have to use their heater because it's whatever their heater design is, and it's only 24
some little
volts.
PTC. Have you looked at the heater before?
Oh yeah, I've had to. Oh, believe me, I've tried to melt the printer with it.
Okay.
I simulated it
PTC
falling
heaters,
out.
And I kind of like that, right? I like the PTC heater. And I have talked about this many times. They are AMD. Prusa is Intel. Prusa has sat for the last 5 years. They've released the Mini, which is a good printer, but it's not a farm printer. They're not designed to run the way the Mark III's is designed to run. So, you know, Prusa has made slow and steady upgrades over the past 5 years. This was Intel back in the 4, 5, 6,000 series ranges.
Hey, my i5 2500K is still going strong on my wife's computer.
My 4770K is sitting back next to the printer behind me, the time up center, because my girlfriend's sister, Amber's sister, has a rig that uses the same motherboard. Her motherboard died, so I gave her my old motherboard, and I just got the processor. I was streaming with that computer for over a year. It was kind of rough. But as soon as Ryzen came out, the first Ryzen chip came out, all of a sudden Intel wakes up. And now we have two companies that are competing for who's best. And we see that every year we're not just dealing with little tiny, oh, it's the same thing, but it's a little bit faster. It is monumentally better than the year prior.
Competition is good.
It is amazing for consumers. It's amazing for consumers. I thought I gave Bamboo enough time. What I didn't realize is that I don't believe Bamboo, if they did any beta testing, it was not enough. My original printer had Rev 3 tool head boards in it. This one has some Rev 8 and some Rev 9. So I ordered my printer December 19th of 2022. It arrived January 13th, 2023. So it was produced likely somewhere in that time frame, I assume. So between then and March, they have made like upwards of 6 hardware changes. That is not a company that is, you know, that's done all of this, you know, testing.
Where does it say Rev on this? Because I got one of the original ones.
Did it have the wires and not the flat flex cable? Those should be Rev 3s.
Let's see here. Because I had
the biggest board it had a Rev number on it. And the little small one on the front had a Rev number on it.
Yeah, so this is extruder 5, Rev 5.
Yeah, so you have a Rev 5. I had a Rev 3.
I don't see any.
And fun thing, when they sent me new boards, I was expecting just that new front tool head board. I got all the new tool head boards because they don't stock the one for my machine anymore.
Yeah, it's all changed. This doesn't even have a Rev on it.
And they do all this conformal coating, which is nice. Means, you know, it's reasonably water resistant. Don't know why you would need it, but fine, whatever.
I don't get it.
They forgot to cover up the threads. So when you go to try to screw in the M1 or M1.5 bolts,
they
get stuck because it's thread locked. And that was when I gave up on my first Bamboo. I said, I'm done. I was 6.5 hours deep into a stream. That was the one where Senpai noticed me, and we put him in timeout, and then he rage tweeted at me. That was that one. You know, now I just want Prussia to make socks. It's really where all this ends. Is I want Prussia socks.
Somebody's talking about the Kokoni printer. That thing, as far as we could tell, is vaporware.
It's
not
I reached out to them.
It's vaporware.
Like as soon as I saw Joel talk about it, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go reach out to them, see if I can get one. Nothing. Absolute radio
they're vaporware. They're vaporware.
Now, they may not be, right? We haven't seen anything, so I would love to see something. If Joel gets one or something like that, okay, I have a little bit better faith. But Joel's taken an interesting stance on not doing reviews anymore, which is really interesting because, like, that's how a lot of our channels start, right? We do reviews.
I don't even do reviews.
Who was it? Flying Bear just reached out.
Ew.
Flying Bear, yeah, 3D Flying Bear. They want me to look at their Reborn 2. It's a big ass Core XY machine. Like, I could use a big Core XY machine. I'll make a project with it and they'll be happy, and then I get a cool big Core XY. They're not gonna pay me, but you know, I'll unbox, I'll take a look at it, whatever. Because I'm still at that stage where I'll take a free printer. Yep. Eventually I need to start making money, but
the problem with printer reviews is like
they're kind of boring.
Exactly, they are, because it's like, okay, here's my printer, here are the spec sheets, here's a print that I printed off of it, these are the things I like, these are the things I didn't like. It's like every other printer. The end. Because this is one thing I'm actually really hoping that Bamboo does, is it shakes up. Like, here's the thing. Bamboo, I'm hoping, kills off the Creality spam, where companies just shit out repeated. I know it hasn't, because people still keep going by.
It only seems like it's made it worse.
Yeah, but like, there are so many similar printers in the 3D printing market that, like, yeah, sure, the SV06 is slightly different than the rest because it actually uses rods and bearings and a direct feed, and it's actually kind of good.
It looks like they put actual engineering to it rather than throwing a BL touch on it.
Yeah,
that they clearly didn't.
I knew this day would come. The Hurricane, where you just take a generic V-wheel bed flinger and you just put Clipper on it and shove it out the door, and it doesn't work.
Clipper's the next thing I need to learn. I want to make a series called One Idiot's Journey Through Clipper, but I am an idiot, so you know, learning that stuff is just going to be, because I don't know programming to save my life.
It's easy. But, I believe me, ask anyone who watches my streams. I am not a software guy, and I'm pretty decent with Clipper.
Well, I have your Discord, so you know.
Uh-oh.
I'll be hitting up those.
That's okay. Joel's building a Voron, and he actually has my phone number, so I'm expecting a call anytime soon when he runs into a problem.
So far, I don't think. I guess I give my number to a few people, but I guess my number's not like the shop number is public, but my personal cell phone number is not too well known. But yeah, I will say I think Bamboo has done walled garden, at least from the hardware side. Actually, think they've done it right.
Okay. So I've talked to somebody who's dived into it, and I can't really say much. Yep. I am really happy with Bamboo hardware-wise. Hardware-wise, I actually really adore this machine. It is like, let's be honest, it's nothing special. It's a NEMA 17 driven Core XY. We've been building them for years. Okay.
I've got a big ass Core XY sitting over here. She's going to get a Z-axis that weighs 55 pounds, and that's just the motion system. That's not the bed.
It's a huge bitch. So,
yeah,
hardware-wise...
SBR12s and 1605 ball screw. I'll send you pictures.
So hardware-wise, I really like what Bamboo is doing. They've come out with a machine that, for the most part, when people don't have lemons, like Grant here, mechanically relatively sound. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the carbon fiber rods. They should have gone with metal. They'll last longer, especially at high speeds. Like you already have to clean them regularly or they'll wear out. And it won't scale as well. I'm not a huge fan of the bed setup itself, with it just being PCB and all loopy and whatnot. And the LiDAR, I barely think is a gimmick, and it's not really usable, or it's not really needed. But hardware-wise, it's a solid machine. The slicer, let's be honest, it's Prusa slicer with some bells and whistles. So the slicer's fine. And apparently, what's it called now? Orca slicer? or whatever they
Yeah.
rename software. That's basically Bamboo Slicer with all the UI improvements, which is the UI is much better than Prusa Slicer, let's be honest. But they took out stuff for Bamboo
It's because
Slicer.
I'm used to the Prusa
I
Slicer
know.
UI. It's like,
Well,
oh,
I
this
use
is
Super
just a little
Slicer
bit
mostly.
different.
So
Yeah.
so they've taken Prusa Slicer, they took some stuff out, slapped a good UI on it, and then somebody took that, kept the good UI, and put the Prusa stuff back in, and then added some more stuff. So Slicer wise, it's fine. It's the firmware that is the thing that I think is the thing I disagree most with on this printer, is the way they do the firmware. And it's just I miss my terminal. I miss being able to just feed it a G-code line to tell it to do something. It's just the way they do things. I can't reprint something. On any of my machines here, I can go up to them. I have it off right now because I got the bad fairing band, so it's loud.
By the way, you don't take out the motherboard to replace it. You can just rip the fan out. Ask me how I know. Yeah.
So on any of my Prusas, on any of my Vorons, anything I've ever printed on them ever is on it, still on there. Yep. With these, they only remember like the last one or two. And on the P1P, it's a goldfish, and the moment the print's done, it forgets.
I had this problem where I made a print, I printed it on the Bamboo. It was for an event the next day. The Bamboo was going to the event with me. It was asked to go to this event, right? An individual, it was a fan who had an event. They were doing a talk. They asked me to come to this event and talk with them. I talked in a planetarium, which is a really cool place to talk. But it was an astronaut because this guy worked for NASA. So it was an Apollo 11 astronaut. I made that model, made a time lapse of it. It was the time lapse that day that we released on social media. It was not on the printer anymore. It was gone. It was absolutely gone.
The time lapse?
I'm like, no. The file.
Oh.
The file that I had gone and printed from the screen had deleted itself. And this was after Bamboo said they had fixed that problem.
It's cached on the SD card. So why is it, like, here's the thing. Why is it cached? Why can't we just access it normally? Why do we have to pull the SD? That's, like right now the P1P, have they updated their studio? Because the P1P does time lapses now, but you have to pull the SD card to get at it.
Oh, I mean, for the P1P, I can understand some of that. Mainly because we've got, it's a lesser X1 carbide. And so there are things that you'll have to accept as, you know, this is the way that it is. Right. But I don't do a lot of time. Like, we have one dedicated printer for time lapse. It's the one directly behind me. Yeah. We use a Sony RX0 for the camera, and that's how we do. And it goes into Premiere. Our editor does it all. It takes him 10 minutes. It's great. Love it. But yeah, it's like, this is a little bit different. Like, this print finished. My editor's waiting for Heroes and the time lapse. Well, since I can't get the thing from studio, I have to go get the SD card. I have to take the print off and put it together. Then I have to go get hero photos. Yeah. It is what it is. Because I'm not able to get all of that stuff. But, you know, I don't know, right? And it's like some of the hate that I'm getting is from people that haven't watched the channel, that know that I don't actually hate Bamboo. I'm actually kind of rooting for them. But I can't also, like, I can't say that I blame them for seeing me looking at a second printer, having problems, and saying it's a you problem. It's
the Twitch thing. So in Twitch, there's a subreddit called LSF where people take a clip from a Twitch stream and they post it there, and then everyone kind of, that's the reaction. So what can happen is you have like a 1 hour thing, and then somebody takes like that 30-second snippet.
30 seconds.
They post it on a Facebook group or a Discord, and then they assume that's all the information. They didn't see anything before, they didn't see after, so they only have the context of that clip. Or I love poking my head in like the 3D printing Discord or any other like community Discord, and you search your name, and it's just, you have like 1 or 2 people that do absolutely nothing but shit on X, Y, or Z anytime it comes up, and then people just regurgitate that information, and it's like an Ouroboros where you hate X because Y told you, and Y told you that because Z told them that, and Z told them that because A told them that, and it's just constantly cyclical. Echo chamber. Echo chambers are a massive problem in community. And the thing is, yes, okay, the Bamboo group's toxic. Well, guess what? So is the Prusa group. So was the Voron group at one point. Every community
I called
gets
out the
to a
Voron group when I did my
yeah,
video.
and full disclosure, that was a thing. Because here's the thing, the Voron team, who are the admins, we became a group and grew the group, and we joined because we wanted to build printers, not moderate a Discord of now over 40,000 people. So what ends up happening is you have an explosive growth in the community. Your admin team that joined because they joined when it was small and it was like, okay, we're just building printers, we're having a great time. What the hell is going on over there now? Why are there so many people in the room? Why is there yelling? That's basically what happens to every community. Eventually you get to a point where you have a rate of growth where your existing moderating team, either through, in our case, it was simply we were just building printers and hanging out in the admin channels doing what we've always done, and all of a sudden we have thousands of people in other channels and languages we don't even speak. Shout out to the Belgian channel or the Dutch group, whichever one of you guys are the crazy ones.
Flemish, the language of Belgium.
So going like just everything falling apart, and we're like up there and we're like, what the hell? It's like the meme from Community where Buddy walks in the room with pizzas and everything's on fire and you're like, what the fuck is it? So every community I think goes through that, where eventually you get to the point of critical mass where community outpaces moderation, and at that point you either have to step in with moderation and be more heavy-handed and kind of weed out the troublesome folks, or you just let it take over. And I think some communities have fallen into the trap of just kind of that we're not going to deal with it, just whatever happens that whatever.
That was the Bamboo Facebook group, and that's how I got docked.
And then some communities like the Voron group where we've stepped in. Now here's the thing though, there are still 40,000 people on that Discord. So you might have somebody who's wet behind the ears and wants to build a Voron because they saw Joel's now building one, and they go on the Discord and they're like, hey guys, what should I do to build a Voron? And you just have one random guy who's like, fuck you, get out of here, you noob, because he just had a bad day. And the entire Discord's hell because, well, one guy just decided to be a dick. And that guy's never posted in the Discord before. Or he posted 6 months ago asking, or posted a picture. Like, there's 40,000 people in there. The moderation team can't instantly be everywhere all at once. So you have to like kind of, it is what it is. It is what it is. And communities, you know, it is what it is. Did we lose you for a second there? No.
Did we lose me? No, I'm here. I was reading something. Yeah, sorry. I can be very, very still. I agree though. And good luck, because the Voron Discord's probably about to double when Joel eventually does do a video on it. And that's exactly why, well...
It's Joel...
It's going to go up.
We've seen the boosts when Tom built his, and when Stefan... The biggest boost my channel ever got in subscribers was when Stefan built his V0 and gave me a shout out. So those two have that. But the thing is, a lot of people in 3D printing are already aware about Voron. We're no longer like the niche community that we used to be. So I think we probably will see another boom when you know Joel does, if Joel does a video on his. But I think we're past that point where like a YouTuber doing a big shout out will throw people to the community.
That's fair. And like I've deliberately stayed away from the Voron community because of what we talked about earlier. I don't simply have the time. And I saw Gregory Pfeiffer way further back. He's a Patreon member of ours. Great guy. He said, theoretically, what would it cost? You know, how much time would it take to build a Voron so we can figure out how much, he's really just trying to figure out how much money we need to raise to force me to build a damn Voron.
Well, here's the thing. I've built several of them on a live stream. So usually it's like 8 to 9 parts for a full build of 3 hours-ish each. Now, granted, I'm talking, there's intros and outros. I built a V0 in a day.
I don't want to do a 0. I know everyone wants to do the 0. I have no use. Like, they're cool, they're cute, I can take them places, and they're going to look cool in business meetings. But I really, like, I'll take a Prusa Mini if I want that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I love small printers. They have their value, and they're the most adorable thing you ever did, dear C. But I don't want to start with one because their practicality for me is so limited.
Build a Trident.
I've got a lot of people saying Trident. I'd love to do a 2.4, but a 2.4 is like an 11 in terms of the difficulty from what I'm told. I just love how the 2.4 functions.
Yeah, the bed tramming is always, you know, cool to see.
Well, and then the X and Y move up and down too. Your bed doesn't move.
Yeah, a Voron V2 does everything that Delta does, but better.
Yeah. Well, Deltas look cooler. I'm sorry. The 3 posts moving around with the end effector. That's just, if I had Deltas, which we don't. We don't use Deltas because I don't do a lot of just very tall cylindrical prints.
Same. I've got a V400, and I do use it occasionally, but like I can't put it on my desk because with the spool on it, I hit the ceiling. So it sits in another room on the floor.
Yeah. I never got a V400. I reached out to FL Sun. Like, that's a printer that I would absolutely love to have, but will not spend $700 on.
Yeah.
Right. You know, and I don't mind doing the streams, but let's see, you know, it's, if you think 3 hours a stream, 9 streams, that's 27 hours. If I really want to make at least $50 an hour, I mean, we're looking at the better part of, it's way too much money.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
and for the people at home who are like, oh, $50 an hour, I wish I was making $50 an hour. Like,
I bill on time at $150.
Yeah, but he's not working 8 hours a day at $150 an hour.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
You might be, I doubt it, but usually it's like you bill that high because you have to make up for the hours of the day you're not making money. Unless you're a rich lawyer, then you just bill whatever and live on a yacht. But for people in like gig work like this, you bill high hourly because you're not working 8 hours a day. You have to make
a YouTube
up for
channel to pay for, damn it. You know? And because ultimately we bill at $150 because we pay our staff incredibly well. A starting engineer, someone that is either certified or has a degree, starts at $30 an hour with 3D Musketeers. I do not pay them less.
Yep.
Because, and while that is above industry norm, I don't care. I want to pay our people well. My goal this year is to bring our company minimum from $15 to $20 an hour. That is my goal this year, to bring the company minimum that high. But to do that, I have to start charging more. So early 2022, we went from 100 an hour to 150 an hour to get that done. So, you know, that's what we ended up doing. Greg says, so roughly 1,500 would cover it. No, think there might be a 0 missing from that.
I wish I made that much building printers.
Yeah, it could be wrong. Ellie says, can I come work for you? You know, we should talk. Because I have some things that I've always thought you'd be perfect for. But, you know, we are hiring engineers. Said that before. There's more people here. I'll say it again. We're hiring engineers. Email me. But, you know, ultimately, everyone works part-time. And so it's feast or famine with a small business. And it's same with YouTube, right? My CPM is a quarter of what it should be right now. Like,
I won't say mine because my CPM is so skewed because I live stream.
Dude, my channel has gotten 251,095 videos views in the past 48 hours. And when we look at yesterday,
you're killing me in views. Right now I'm at for the month.
We're destroying views.
Yeah,
I did 111,941 views on Tuesday for a grand total of $7.96.
Okay, so I'm beating you there. In the past 28 days, I've got 450,000 views on my channel, but none of that's shorts. None of that's shorts.
None of this is short either.
Short. You know what's actually popping off on my channel right now? The Saval unboxing. The Saval unboxing live stream has 71,000 views in a month, and the average watch time is an hour.
So
that is killing it.
I did the predicting the future of 3D printing. So what will 3D printing look like in 2023? January 3rd is when the video went live. It is at 722,000 views. It has gained 181,701 views in the past 48 hours. That video is literally, that's a hockey stick.
Yeah, that video, the algorithm grabbed that video, I guess.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
and it has continued to, it's been grabbing it since Friday. That video's on over 100,000 views since Friday.
I don't have any videos with anywhere near, like, let me see right here.
I just sit here, I'm like, I don't know.
It happens.
I don't know.
My video with the most views.
Enjoy it.
Oh, my intro to Clipper video is finally about to hit 200,000 views after 2 years.
Yeah, that's our biggest, our like channel video. That's the biggest is the there's the Prusa Mini maintenance video and the Super Slicer video, because Teaching Tech did a Super Slicer video, and that saw that video go nuclear as well.
So for me, the thing is, I really don't do a ton of videos that are like, I won't say clickbaity, but clickbaity. Like, a lot of my content is just, it's not something with mass appeal.
The titles are well done. That's what the titles are well done.
Yeah.
They draw you in, and that's what they're supposed to do. Their clickbait is something where the title doesn't match the video.
Yeah, true.
If you have a sensationalized title and a sensationalized thumbnail, and you cover everything that you have in your, thumbnail and in your title, that's not clickbait. That's good marketing.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
And then you just gotta have a red arrow pointing at something circled.
Well, duh. You have to. Like, that's like, and you got to be making, faces.
Oh, yeah.
You got your mouth has to be open for some reason.
Let me shoot. Do I have it here? I don't know if I have it on this computer. I don't think so. I don't know. I'm wearing a full mop suit for tomorrow's video's thumbnail, so that'll be fun.
Oh, I don't even what is it?
It's resin printing.
With a suit.
Yeah, I wore a full mop suit. It's for the intro bit.
Okay, I will watch it. I'm now curious.
Okay. But you know how we're having fun? I gotta end the stream because I gotta go pick up the little guy at school. It's 2 o'clock. Okay. So this was fun. We gotta do this again.
Yeah. Anytime, dude.
This 3 hours.
Give me at least a week notice so I can block 5 hours of my day.
Well, it'll never be longer than 3.
I'm not being paid to be here, so this is all. We're just hanging out, having fun. And you should check your DMs on Discord. I've been sending you some stuff. I sent you the Z-axis, and then I sent you something that we're looking at for Remurf.
Yeah, I can't pull that up while we're live because my setup is super awesome. Where I literally just have him on my main monitor, and it's just sharing the screen with it cropped in, because that's how we do it in OBS. Yep. Resin is toxic. I know resin is toxic. Every time I touch resin, it's like, it's toxic.
That's my catchphrase. That's my catchphrase is resin is toxic. Yeah. It's a thing that we do. There's like a whole bit where there's a resin is toxic comes up on the stream. I am now in prototype number 3 for embroidered lab coats that say resin is toxic on them.
Oh, jeez.
So we are working on merch. Actually, I'm wearing the latest revision from our embroiderer for shirts for merch, because that's also how content creators make money. That's why content creators push merch very quickly, because cash flow. Anyways, we can get off into that another time. I know you have to go.
Well, I got to do the giveaway here, so I know I haven't pimped it as much as I normally do during a live stream, but a bunch of people entered. So let me. You're going to be there. People can hear you, but you're in the background. You're behind.
I'm invisible.
There you are. There you are. He's hiding behind that. Okay. So what is it? I don't know. Somebody give me a number between like 5 and 10 so I can pump up the engagement. I need a number between 5 and 10.
6.9, obviously.
6.9. Oh shoot. Okay, 6 works. 1 2 3 4 5 6. There we go. Round and round it goes. Where it stops, the algorithm knows, because the AI knows all, and it's going to take all our jobs.
Polymaker is awesome.
They are.
I'm a Jesse fanboy. I've been using Jesse since I found him. But I gotta see if Dave is open to sponsorships, but then I know Polymaker's always open to sponsorships.
Oh yeah, Paul, I got a video I'm working on that they're sponsoring. Congratulations, Jason. You won yourself a spool of filament. That's a dancing baby from Polymaker, and you'll get an email from me after the stream ends on how to collect your filament. So let me just pull up your information here so I don't lose it.
A weird way to spell my name. Beautiful. Guys are great. See, your chat's very much like mine. Sometimes the mods are the problem. Because the mods troll because they know too much. No, you got a good channel here, dude. I've always loved your content. And thank you for just on a complete and utter whim cameoing in our printed solid video.
Oh yeah, that was fun. That was fun.
That was literally, I think that was our first like major interaction, was like, hey, you want to be in this video?
Like, yeah.
You're like, oh yeah, sure, I'll be Dave at the keyboard.
And technically, I think we both cameoed in Joel's video, because there's like one shot of the screen in the background, so you can see us on the screen.
Yeah, we were both in Joel's video. Joel and Joe Prusha were also in mine, but they were in the background randomly. That was such a cool day. I've never seen filament made on an extrusion line.
Yep.
So that was so much fun.
I've seen it before. We have a local manufacturer that makes filament that I actually did a video on like 2 years ago. And
I gotta start doing more, because like Slice is local. They're 2 hours north.
See, for me, here's the thing. The only time I meet people is when I go to events, because I'm down in Southern Ontario. I know Chep is like 45 minutes from me, but he's
a nice guy.
He's
so
in
sweet.
Michigan, so another country.
Right.
But other than that, there's nobody near me. Although I think Hacksmith is in Ontario, but they're like, I want to say Waterloo or Kitchener area. They're
That'd
like
be cool.
3 or 4 hours north of me, but I don't know how.
Apparently don't go there when they're not there, because there might be drones attacking you.
Okay.
That was their recent video.
Oh shoot. So yeah, so that's like the closest content creator. Other than that, everything's a drive. It's like, oh, collab with LTT. I'm like, they're on the other side of the country. But anyways, yeah. I gotta end this stream because I gotta go pick up the little guy and I gotta eat something. So thank you for coming out. We'll do this in the future. I'm gonna try and find more guests so we can make this a semi-regular thing, because it's fun and it's easy content. Okay.
Hey, I agree with you guys. Make sure to like and subscribe, ring that notification bell, all the fun things. Go support Nero on Patreon, and if you feel so indulgent and you like this weird, crazy stuff that I do, go check out my channel as well.
Yeah.
Hit up the merch links in the bio and all that fun thing. We'll see you guys later. Have a good one.
Checks, Grants. I'm gonna mute you here. I'm gonna do my outro, and then we'll talk after. Okay. Mute. Okay. Awesome. That was fun. You guys have fun? Did you have fun? I had fun. That was awesome. So before we leave, I want to shout out Polymaker for the spool filament we gave away this stream. We give away a spool every stream. I think I have a link in the description. If not, go to the previous stream and go click that link, because it's an affiliate link. Doesn't cost you anything extra. Goes a long way in supporting the channel. And for those that donated to the channel, became members of the channel, or gifted memberships to others, I thank you. I would not be able to do the things I do, create the content I create, without your continued support. You make it all possible. Again, no stream tomorrow. There will be a stream Saturday. We're going back to the V0. More wiring. Yay! So enjoy your weekend, or no, enjoy your Friday, then your weekend. I'll see you Saturday. Be safe out there. Wash your hands, and bye.
Sweet. Bye, Grant.